Yeah, I'm going to switch back over here, Dave. You got 1 second?
Oh, you're fine. What is going on, All Terrain Nation? Whether it be two-wheel drive, four-wheel drive, you know the drill. It does not matter what you drive. This is your All Terrain Nation, and I'm your host, David Boyd. And we're making technical. We're changing things around. It doesn't matter. But tonight, we've got Bronco Wild Outdoors, and we're so wild tonight that we're changing headphones, and we're just having fun. And and we're introducing our new guest to the world of streaming here. So what is going on, man?
A little bit of everything. I'm excited to be here tonight, and yeah, so a little last-minute headphone change. Sorry about that. And hey, I've got my build date, David, and I'm totally excited.
That's what I watched your latest video. I think it was Sunday, and it showed that you got your build date, and I'd had mine since Thursday, and I was trying to keep it quiet because I was trying to do a video. And I wanted to kind of do a small reveal in the video, and then I see all these people getting their build dates, and I'm sitting here it's just killing me. I want to reveal that I got mine, and but yeah. So how excited were you when you got your? First off, introduce yourself and tell us what your channel is all about.
All right, my name's Dwayne Cotton, and my son and I, who is not here right now, we have our channel Bronco Wild Outdoors. The channel is a lifestyle channel that we're going to use the Bronco as sort of the vehicle, and I get to spend time with my family, especially my son, camping, four-wheeling, enjoying the outdoors. And so, hey, the Bronco is going to be the way we get there.
Well, and I imagine that Bronco can tow four-wheelers and all kinds of fun toys, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And we have a few to tow, so I need a lightweight aluminum trailer, so I'm towing the weight of the four-wheelers and the dirt bikes and not the trailer.
Well, if you guys in the channel, if you'll smash that like button, it just helps the channel grow, and we greatly appreciate that. And go over to Bronco Wild Outdoors. Be sure to smash the subscribe button, man. Just help a fellow Bronco owner out there and help his channel grow, because I want to see all the cool Bronco channels grow. Andy, thank you so much for that super chat, man. Thank you so much. And so tonight, obviously, it's interview night, but there's all kinds of fun Bronco stuff we're going to talk about. But first off, Mr. Wild Outdoors, let's just, what happened? What led you down this path of Bronco? I mean, there's a lot of vehicles you could choose. Why Bronco?
Okay, so I'm probably 85 or 90% brand loyal to Ford. So I don't have anything against Jeeps. Jeeps just weren't, I love what Jeeps can do and have done, but I'm a Ford guy, right? So, what am I going to use off-road? And so I have a truck. I have an F-250. You can take it to the Outer Banks, but it's a heavy vehicle. It's diesel, so it's really not the perfect sand vehicle. I don't want to take it through the woods and scratch it all up.
Right.
That sounds sad. So I said, it would be nice if we had something like a Jeep, but being a Ford guy. And we have a Range Rover as well. That's my wife's car. I'm not exactly allowed to take it through the woods and the mud, but hey, yeah.
If you get her own Bronco, maybe she'll allow that, right?
If I ever want to come home. So when Ford, and actually I was late to the show. It was a day before the reveal.
Mm-hmm.
And a friend of mine said, "Hey, did you hear Ford's coming out with a new Bronco?" Well, I really haven't. I'm a Mustang guy. I like speed. The car behind me here, you can see the roof of it. I'm a Ford Mustang guy, and I've got a few of them. And what happened a day before the Bronco reveal, my friend told me about it, and I started looking up and said, holy smokes, what's up with this? And so the night of the reveal, it was about 20 minutes into it, I was hooked. I was done. I said, this fits what I've been looking for my son and I to spend a lot of time together. We've had a boat, and we've had that. He really doesn't like the open water.
Yeah.
But he likes camping. He likes going outdoors. So bingo, being a Ford guy and the Bronco showing up, here we are.
Oh man, my crowd is going crazy with the super chats tonight, guys. Thank you all so much. And tonight's drinking rules, well, in Peugeot, tonight's drinking rules are Danny's not with me, so That's on Danny when he sets the rules. I don't know, God, if you saw my normal stream that we did on Friday. It was just my buddy was like, "Hey man, I'll smash beers for super chats," and I forget they went. It was like $150 later, and he was about on the ground, man. It was kind of funny, but guys,
Yeah.
the super chats once again, they do so much for the channel, so I greatly appreciate that. So much like you, like that reveal just killed me. And I've been a Nissan guy for a long time, and Nissan did away with the Xterra. Anything kind of off-road fun that I'd want to go camping in, they kind of did away with it. And with the channel, this channel was being planned even before that. And I thought, man, it's perfect timing to launch this channel. We got this cool new SUV coming out. It's off-road, which I love anything off-road. Yeah. And I was watching that, and I was like, am I really, like, do I really like this? Because I watched that video probably 10 times in a row. Like, I would rewind it and just want to find all those key features. But what was it that kind of brought you to, I mean, what was was it just the overall look? Was it all the features? What was it that kind of hooked you?
Well, I'll tell you exactly where, and I don't know. I know the company, but the marketing company for Ford did a outstanding job. You know, when the early Bronco was on screen at first, and the running horses were there, and the early Bronco left the scene, and then I think it was a two-door Cyber Orange new Bronco there. That was it. I said, that's the look, right? I wanted something that looked like the early Bronco, but it needed to look like 2021. And immediately from a side view, that was it. And it was instant. Thank God Ford finally listened to millions of us out there that's been asking for this.
Right. And listen to us. They listen to a small group of Bronco enthusiasts within the company, you know, yeah. And nobody, it's widely said, but nobody over there wanted to build this at all. And Ford hadn't had a true hit. I mean, the Raptor was a pretty big hit for them, but they really hadn't had a true car hit in a long time. So for it to come out and the expectations couldn't be, I know I've talked to some Ford people now, and they look at it and go, oh no, we knew it was going to be 190,000 pre-orders. And I'm like, there's you thought probably 100,000 at best, and that would have been a hit for them. But for it to be as huge as it was super exciting.
Yeah, it's huge, and and the marketing did exactly what it needed to do. It caught, there's a lot of people that own other brands of off-road vehicles that are Ford people, but there was nothing there until now.
Right.
And so, I'm 80% Ford, 20% everything else, and so we're a Range Rover family. We like Range Rovers as well, and hey, Ford did own Range Rover at one point in time, right? So
yes.
The idea was this utility. I don't know if it's the right word, but utilitarian type vehicle.
Yeah.
Something that I could put a dent in it, and I probably wouldn't be happy with putting a dent in a $60,000 Badlands, but I'll get over it pretty quick.
Right.
The modularity, the idea that I can modify it, make it uniquely mine. One of the things that on social media, especially, that's just been eating at me is I'm really happy that people received their Broncos before me. And but part of me is like, dang, man, I was a first day reservation holder. Why? But the other thing is I'm seeing people customize these Broncos and make them theirs. And I love seeing that, because the idea is it's just like Jeep, right? Everybody customize it, make it uniquely yours, make it how you want it, not how the masses want it. So.
Well, so, you hinted on there that they had owned Range Rover and all that a little bit. And obviously they definitely got some tech from there. The crawl system and stuff definitely was not originally Ford. They brought some, Ford's been real smart. They buy up these companies, and and I guess GM was the same way, but they buy up these companies, they kind of rape and pillage all their tech, and then just do away with them. And of course, Range Rover's they're still doing quite fine. But I think they're honestly a better company now than they were. Ford cleaned them up a lot between them and Volvo, but they definitely set them up better than they came to Ford. But Ford got a lot of tech from those guys.
Yeah, and it's funny to pop a hood on a Range Rover and see a Fomoco hose on it.
Right.
It's like, where'd that come from? It's pretty cool to see that, but the technology there, and you think, well, we have a supercharged Range Rover. It's pretty hot. It's fast. My wife loves it. The headlights turn when you turn the steering wheel, self-leveling suspension, all that cool stuff. So what does it have to do with the Bronco? Well, the Bronco has brought tech to a new level with off-roading.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said, there's probably some of that knowledge that's been brought over.
Yeah, definitely. And what do you get, like 8 miles per gallon with that supercharger?
At this point, you don't care. It sounds good when you hit the start button. I mean, it sounds really good.
Right.
It is, yeah. My wife loves it. That's her hot rod. So
Nice.
with kids, she loved her Mustang convertible,
Mm-hmm.
but now she gets that. It's like a Shelby horsepower.
Sure.
Well, the early Shelbys. Don't get me wrong, not the new Shelbys. But the '06 Shelby like I used to have.
Right.
And she loves it.
Well, so you've got 2 orders, right?
Yeah. Well, we had 2 reservations.
Mm-hmm.
One has been, my Badlands has been turned into an order, which
Okay.
we now have a build date for.
Right.
I have a priority code 99 on the Wild Track, which I'm probably going to switch over to another Badlands.
Right. And what's kind of so out of when you saw the launch video, it didn't tell you much, really. We were kind of blindly reserving things. Like you just didn't know. And that's one thing I think Ford could have done slightly better on with the reveal was having more of a. I mean, they just wanted your $100, and I think they gave us enough to do that. But I remember I reserved or when I did my reservations, it was a 2-door Badlands, non-Sasquatch, because I just was like, I think this is what I was looking at. And to this day, I still have that picture on my order sheet. Like it still shows up the wrong thing. Till I got my the order popped, and then it finally actually showed the right color. But so what was your expectations when you did 2 reservations? And did you think, oh man, these 2 are going to pop at around the same time? That's a lot of vehicle. Did you think, okay, in 6 months we'll see Broncos? What was going on there?
I really thought, okay, first of all, the justification was I wanted the washout interior, though. I guess it's not waterproof; it's water resistant. Marine grade vinyl, and I figured my wife wanted more of the creature comforts, and she wanted the carpet and stuff like that, and so that's why I decided on a Badlands. So for me, coming late to the game, I'm on the website trying to figure out which is the best trim for me. And when I read everything about the Badlands, I'm like, man, this is what I want, because you can get a base Bronco, which in Supercell East, I was impressed with the base and then all the upside, but I want to customize my Bronco in a way that's more cosmetic, not more mechanical.
Sure.
And so I figured the Badlands hit for me, off-roading, rock crawling, and different things like that. Initially I thought I'm a first-day reservation holder. They've got my deposit, and I'm going to be one of the first ones with a Bronco.
Right.
And I think a lot of us thought that, right?
Right.
And then the reality started sinking in that I really didn't know what was happening. We now know and you were spot on with the top issue, like a big issue with the top. And, I was thinking, does both Broncos show up at the same time? So early on, we actually turned in January our Badlands into an order, and we said, well, let's put off the Wild Track until later in the year. And then as the years progressed, and we figured out all the issues, let's push it back to a 22. Let's hope that we can get a hard top on that one.
So what was with your first Badland? What's the color? What were the options you kind of went for?
All right. So I always have to say it in a certain order so I can remember it. It's like I'll tell it so many times. So it's Area 51, course 4-door, Badlands Sasquatch, Marine grade, tow, 2.7 Lux. What am I forgetting? Soft top. Now it was MIC, now soft top.
Well,
which was crazy by itself. And when I modified the order, it was instant. I got a build date.
Yeah. Which I did the same thing. We came back from our after reviewing the first edition, and me and my wife were talking on the way back, and it's a 600-mile trip, so we had a lot of time to discuss Bronco. She probably heard enough Bronco, but we were thinking. I said, "There's nothing going to be really new in 22, other than it's a 22." And I've said this on our channel a lot that, I need the latest and greatest. But then I got thinking about it. There is no difference in the 21s to the 22. It's such a short build time. There's not going to do anything other than colors. And then when I was up there at the Woodford Dream Cruise, and they announced that, and I'm kicking myself. I was trying to get over to that, and we could not find parking. if anybody's ever seen this Dream Cruise, it's like, I swear, 15 to 16 miles long. It's ridiculous.
Wow.
There's nowhere to park. And I drove by the Bronco Nation booth that Friday. They were just setting it up, and I seen the Ford display, and we just could never find parking there. But I seen that green, and I know everybody's wanted that green, like green with white. Oh, we got to have the throwback Broncos, which I'm going to go on record and say when they get those white tops eventually, they're going to regret that decision real quick because it's going to show mold. It's going to show everything you don't want to, and there's going to be a lot of maintenance to that top. But the green just didn't do anything for me, and that new hot chili whatever tri-coat they have, I could probably do that one, but it just wasn't exactly what I wanted. And then I hear they're doing away with a few colors and my Rapid Red, and it kills me because I personally was like, nobody's seen this color yet, you know, unless you've been to the Bronco celebrations and you were there and I was there, that you haven't had a chance to truly see these things in some colors. Like for me, Area 51, my wife was all about that. And then our dealership got the Sport in that color, and she was just instantly, that wasn't for me.
That wasn't for her, yeah.
Yeah, and I think there's going to be a few people that get that Area 51 that once they get it, they're like, oh, well, this is not as cool as it was in pictures. And not messing with your order or anybody's order. I just think it's a color that once you see it in person, you're just like, oh, okay, it's just a color. It's nothing nothing exciting.
Oh, no, I get it. If you watch some of my videos, you'll see that I've really struggled with the color. Like if there was a boxwood green, that would have been, you know, I'm a green fan.
Right.
So boxwood green would have been it, and there would have been no second option. Area 51 is one of those colors it's haunted me because I like it and then I don't like it.
Right.
So if you see it in Moab, dusty and dirty, I don't like it. If I see it in Townsend, Tennessee, clean and detailed, man, I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I think I said, okay, so when I get it, I'm going to, we're going to dress it up a little bit. So part of the cosmetic modification is going to be a lot of orange. And so this is either going to be a hit or it's going to be a zero, but there's going to be some orange on that Bronco.
Well, there's been some come out with, they've changed the beauty rings and stuff, the sass rings and stuff to orange, and it looks really good, which leads me, because I'm curious about this, since you've done a lot of time around these things. Where are you at with the individual model colors? Because I kind of think that was a last minute addition by Ford, and I'm not a big fan of it because I know for my Rapid Red, I'm going to have orange accents, and I'm like, that just doesn't go together whatsoever.
Right. And so what is it? The Outer Banks has a grabber blue.
Yeah.
I think so some people, it depends on the color. So if you have grabber blue inside accents and you go with an cactus gray, it's not, I don't guess it's that bad, but what about if you go with cyber orange?
Yeah.
Now suddenly it starts to clash.
Yeah.
So I think that the Badlands, the orange in the Badlands is really going with the Area 51. I think are you referring to the picture of the cactus gray Bronco with the orange tow hooks and?
Well, yeah, the one I've seen, the one I was talking about with the capable beadlock stuff is they've done that in the Area 51 with the orange. I thought maybe it is cactus gray.
Yeah, I saw there was one backed up in a parking garage. It was like a dealer meeting or something.
Yeah.
It was on. Yeah, man, that was cool. And I think that with an Area 51 it works, but I think some of the colors, maybe the accent, some people are not going to like it. So since they are bolt on and bolt off, you know, I think there's going to be a lot of changes going on there.
And if Ford's smart, they'll already have that for dealers by 22.
Yeah.
Customize. It was real big within a lot of the foreign brands like Scion and Nissan. They did they called it color splash, and you could change all this stuff. And Ford needs to jump on that a little bit. It's either that or I'm going to find somebody that wants some orange handles, and I'll be trading those out pretty quickly.
Yeah, you know I like the orange. I don't know why. You know, the Badlands logo is pretty cool. We have some stuff planned for our channel that we're going to do for our Bronco and maybe even offer for people to buy as well. So the idea is to take our Bronco and make it uniquely ours, but make it so it's not so uniquely ours that someone else might not like that same design as well.
Right.
Maybe a little customization. So.
Well, and you know, speaking of all the badging and stuff, these have been going around the internet. If it'll pop out and I don't break it, let's see.
Trying to grab it out of.
Oh, there we go. The Bronco
There you go.
badges. Honestly, the triangle's going away, and this is what's going on the side of my Badlands is because
the early Bronco look, you can't go wrong with it.
And I think this guy's going to get a cease and desist is what I think he's going to happen with this poor guy, whoever does this. More power to you, sir. But I think you're going to get a cease and desist because I'm pretty sure on the Heritage Edition that they're talking about doing, you're going to see these on the side of it. So they're not going to – that's why I grabbed one real quick. I was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I think they were like $60. I was like, I want that look anyways. But if you guys are interested in these, they're all over the forums, but they're quite large. I'm surprised how large they were because here's my, it's kind of hard to see, but there's my hand next to it, and they're quite big. But I did see a comment about this little item in the chats, and let me.
Oh, the hammock.
The hammock. This was great because this was on. I mean, I already knew I got my email, but this was sitting on my front door when I walked in Thursday, and I was like, "What timing, man?" Have you gotten into, since you got two of them, you should get two hammocks, right?
Well, maybe. So I did receive one hammock. I did get two of the posters, the packet that came with the posters. So I got two of those. So I opened the one, we did a video on it, and I kept the other one sealed. I figured, well, one day maybe it's a collector's item.
And some of this actually will be collector's items, believe it or not. Yeah. They will be.
Well, if you look at the Mustang stuff, right? I'm a big Mustang fan, and you look at a lot of stuff. I had a 06 Shelby GT500. Mm-hmm. We were going to have one of 8,500, and that was it. And the next thing they know, they build them again and again and more, and now they're 760 horsepower. So it made my 06 500 horsepower solid rear axle like obsolete,
Yeah.
But the content that came with it, or the front splitter. When the GT500s were delivered, for example, when you took it off the trailer, it scratched the front splitter.
Right.
So they'd send you another one. And so you keep the original as part of the story.
Sure.
All of this kind of stuff, I think one day will add definitely some value to that original owner.
Well, and there's been a lot of, first editions are going to be collector's items. I don't think first editions are any collector's items. What I think is, and me and Dr. Detroit were talking about this today, I think some of the things that are going to be collector's items are like Rapid Red, colors that such a short lifespan to them, the antimatter blue. I think that's, I mean, I'm not saving mine to sit in the garage, and mine's going to go have fun with it. But I do think that there's certain things, anything weird quirks in manufacturing are collector's items. I used to sell vintage guitars. If you could, the little dots they put on the neck, I had one come in one time from Fender with no dots. And I set that one aside as like, it was a mistake. Anytime little mistakes and stuff, those are collector's items. First edition.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sold. I mean, I love, trust me, Dr. Detroit said I got to drive. I love spending time in that thing. It's amazing. But I'm not sold that first edition means anything other than like, you're kind of a sucker and you wanted everything in a special name.
Right. And you wanted it first, but it's really not first. Yeah. So, or maybe it is, or maybe it wasn't. So, yeah, you were talking about Rapid Red, being that Rapid Red and Area 50, or not Area 51, but Antimatter Blue is going away.
Yeah. So
if you've got one of those in a hardtop right now, even though you're getting a replacement top, you have a rare vehicle. Mm-hmm. I mean, you really do.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah. And so I do think, like, I know I've seen so many people kind of crapping on this stuff that Ford's doing. And would I ever use that hammock? No. I probably wouldn't trust myself to be in that without it just ripping or something, because I'm sure it's not a good quality product. But I respect them for doing it. They didn't have to do it, and I've seen all these people kind of crapping on this stuff, like, oh man, they're not, in the posters and stuff. They're just trying to make people happy for, it's a short time happiness, but they're just trying to say, hey, we haven't forgot about you, and we're here for you, and it doesn't cost them a lot.
Yeah, and they don't have to do it. Right. That someone has chosen to do it, and I think I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm looking across the room over here at the posters that I have, and eventually they'll end up on the wall of shame here behind me. But I can't wait for it. Now the hammock, if we get the second one, the first one I'll keep. The second one, if I do get number 2 there, then hey, you know what? We'll try it.
Yeah.
We'll actually do a video, so if it rips, you'll see it live here on YouTube.
Well, don't put your son in it then. Don't put Gavin in it.
No. It'll be me. It'll be Gavin.
Well, so let's jump into that a little bit. What obviously these are just doing this is fun no matter what. That's the cool thing about YouTube. It's wide open. Anybody with that wants to buy a mic or a video camera and feel like an idiot like I do half the time, it's open world to do that.
Yeah.
But what kind of got you and your son together? Because I remember some early videos. I don't recall your son being in there. I may have missed. Has he always been a part of it, or what's up with that?
So initially he wasn't. So what happened was, when you mentioned reserving 2 Broncos, I went off on blind faith, right? I hadn't seen them. I've seen the reveal, and that was it. We actually started this channel a year ago, but I just let it sit idle. I didn't do anything until April, actually right before Supercell East. And so I did a couple videos there. Hey, I saw my first Bronco in person. I sat in it, and okay, thank God it's exactly what I hoped it was, right?
Right.
Because I've got 2 of them coming.
Right.
And so as I started looking at it and the possibilities, and I'll back up a little bit, and this is a lesson for I guess a lot of people, is I've worked a lot. I've worked really, really hard. And I've watched my oldest daughter grow up in front of me, and my middle child, my youngest daughter, grow up really, really quick. And at the sake of being a success, right? Whatever the heck that means.
Mm-hmm.
And my thing is like, I am not watching my little boy grow up without me. So what do you want to do, Gavin? And he wants to go 4-wheeling. He wants to go out in the woods. He wants to go camping. So bingo, Ford, I'm a Ford guy. Ford came out with the Bronco, and it all fit.
Nice.
And so as we started talking about Broncos, Gavin kept showing a major interest in it, and he would start to repeat stuff that we would see on a lot of early Bronco videos on YouTube. And I said, hey, why don't you sit in with me and talk Broncos with me? And then he started wheeling off some of the data, and the specs of the Bronco. I'm like, where did you hear that? Well, when you were watching YouTube, I was listening. I'm like, okay, this is it. Him and I are going to do this Bronco thing together. This is not going to be my deal. It's our deal. And that's how it happened.
Nice. And he does I've listened. He quotes some good info. I'm like, the little dude knows what he's doing, man. I like it. And,
and so my daughter, we went to Texas Bronco. I hope I'm not skipping ahead or anything.
No,
you're
fine.
Bronco Off-Roadeo in Texas. And after the initial talk about when you use certain features of the Bronco, she's like, hey, Dad, I think you need your front locker on this one. I'm like, man, this is cool.
So you took your daughter with you.
Yeah, so you have to be 12 or older.
Mm-hmm.
Gavin's not quite there yet. So I wanted someone to go with me, number 1 for company, number 2 to hold a camera.
Right.
And so Alexa said,
see,
hey,
you're a YouTuber, man. You're a YouTuber right there.
Yeah, I'm a tuber, man. I got it. So she wanted to go with me. And what scared me, and there's just, I don't want to plug my channel too much, Dave.
Oh, you're on here to do that, sir.
I'm on here to do that, right? So there's a video on my channel called 2-Wheeling a Bronco. And you can skip to it about 2-minute mark. We were in a 4-door Badlands with one of the trail guides, and we were in a hard right-hand corner going extremely fast, and the tires planted in the rut, and we brought the right side of the vehicle up, and you can see it about the 2-minute mark. If you watch the dash and watch the trees, you'll see how far it came up. It was insane.
Nice.
So my daughter was in the back laughing. Can we do it again? I'm like, no, we can't do that again. No. And now I'm starting to worry about when she gets her license, man, I'm in trouble.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you'll have 2 of them though, so you'll have
right. Yeah. See, maybe we'll get a base and we'll just, we'll build that one up the way we want it. But
nice. Well, you'll have the females Bronco, and then you'll have the dudes Bronco over there.
Yeah, that's right. And then my wife and daughters can drive the one, and we'll drive the other. Hey, problem solved.
So I've kind of crapped on the off-roadeo stuff, and some of the reason I've done that is because, for one, they can't seem to get the vehicle out, and as a guy who covers the industry, there's nothing I hate worse than a over-promising, under-delivering, and I kind of feel they've done that slightly by no fault of their own. But in all honesty, a pandemic and everything, like, it was a perfect storm for just the kind of crap show we're in right now. But I know they've signed contracts to lease this land, and they had to get this one off the ground so they could get the other 3 off the ground.
Yep.
So I'm kind of hard on that event for that reason alone. It's nobody that works there. I know people who work at these things. They're good off-road people, But the thing, Bronco, they were selling it on that launch video of, and it's included as part of, buying a Bronco is you get, to learn how to use it. And then the kind of crap show that it turned into of like, you find there's fees and there's little things that you've got to do. And then if you want to bring a guest, which is understandable, it costs.
Yeah, and water.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, do you think there was enough value there for what it probably ended up costing you?
Absolutely. So first of all, from being the YouTuber, and I mentioned the water there, first time I ever heard of box water. What the heck is that? I've never been off-roading. I've never been overland. I learned about box water. It was great. But they even thought about water on the trail, right? So there was the cooler set up throughout the trails. If you needed a fresh drink of water, there it was.
Right.
Like they really thought of everything. It was cool seeing the GoPros hidden off in the corners, so catching some footage. For me, and I'll start at the beginning on that. For me, being the builder, I was geeked out with the building. I couldn't believe that something like that they had spent so much time and thought into the designing, the architecture of the building. It wasn't a shack with a roof. Like this place is cool. The art in there is really cool. How they had it designed. So I was impressed with that. But I went to see the Broncos, not the building.
Right.
And then you'd see the grounds, how it was set up, and the trail guides were funny, educational, and they were just like, it was strange. I felt like I've known everyone there for a while, and a lot of the people that you went there with were there for a common interest, right? It was really, really a cool deal. And no, I get it, because at the same time I want my Bronco, I was also looking to sort of to merge that technique and the technology of the Bronco together. And so one thing I did in one of my videos, and maybe I'm just kind of taking this out of, I'm making too much out of it, but you have your up to 7 goat modes and you have your hero switches. Well, if you're in a Badlands, think about this, is that depending on what hero switch whether you're locking in your front lockers and you're reconnecting your sway bar, even though you're in rock crawl mode, there's a lot of customizing of each goat mode that you can do. So, when you turn into rock crawl, the Bronco sort of falls into this predetermined, disengage the front sway bar, changes the gearing. And so now you're able to say, well, wait a minute, I'm not going up any crazy terrain. I want to re-engage the front locker, or re-engage the front sway bar. Or maybe I want to take off the front locker and hit rear. There's a lot of stuff that you're able to customize. And what happened with the trail guides, they were able to help you micromanage what mode you would want to be in.
Okay.
And so they would give you the freedom. Okay, here's what I would recommend, but play with it. And it was really cool to find out the capability of this Bronco, which is incredible.
Well, and a buddy of mine who I'm going to have on Thursday for a special Bronco show, we've been off-roading for over 10, 12 years together. And, of course, I've done this 25 years or more. So the idea of some of these modes, to me, initially, I was like, it's a gimmick. It's for people who want to just feel like, I can turn the button and I'm off-road. But after he's had his for about a month now, and he said, Dave, he's like, we're old school. I want an old transfer case. I want to manually shift it in there. And he was like, I want to turn my lockers on. He said, but I have to say, like, this is going to make me really lazy about those things because it's so nice. They work as they want to. Like you were saying, you can customize all that stuff, and it just goes with it. Obviously, it changes shift points and throttle response. But overall, though, because some of the guys that you may have seen were actually at the Townsend event. I know a few of them that were there from this, and they're guides there now. And I will say the Townsend guys, they said that for what they had to play with at Townsend, that was really nice. Did you get to do the ride-alongs when you were at Townsend?
Oh yeah, I did. And actually, if you, we have a short of the trail turn assist. On my
I
YouTube
watched.
channel.
Yeah, I watched that.
So we were behind. We were in a base. It's kind of cool. I'd heard a rumor.
Oh wait, sorry, Cigar Texan. Cheers, sir. Thank you. He's 1776. I appreciate that number. So sorry to interrupt, man. I appreciate weird number super chats. So anybody can do like the normal, but my people here know, like he's a proud guy. So I appreciate the 1776. Anyways, I don't mean to interrupt.
Yeah, no, you're fine. Somebody do a 1553. That's what I'm looking for. Yeah. So we were in a base Bronco Sasquatch, and we were able. And Kyle was our driver. Excellent driver. Educational. Kind of broke down the Bronco. It was about a 3 mile, if you remember, from the the grounds where the staging area to the trail, about 3 miles. And so in 3 miles, I became an expert in a Bronco.
Right.
And so I said something in one of my videos. It was probably the dumbest thing but the first thing that came to my mind was it's like a magic carpet ride through the woods. Like the Haas suspension, the little bumps in the trail that I was used to in my, F-150 30 years ago.
Right.
It would have beat your brains out, halfway down there. Yeah. Well, this thing was gliding across it. Well, when we got to there was that little rock crawl demonstration. And when you get to the top, the funny thing is, why do you need trail turn assist? Well, if you remember going up that hill where you made that hard left hand, like 170-degree turn to the left, there was about a 100-foot drop to your right.
Yeah.
I don't know about you, but I don't want to do a 15-point turn there.
Right.
And so hitting the trail turn assist and being able to kick the Bronco around. And so that video showed the Bronco, it brought the flex of the Bronco.
Yeah.
Brought the left rear off the ground. And then it turned, and it's just really, really cool. And so I even did a TikTok video of it, and I think right round. I don't know what music I put to it, but right round or something like that.
Oh yeah, because it's on that same music is on your
Instagram.
Your short too.
Yeah, I think it's Instagram.
And what is the Instagram? You got to throw it out there.
So we're across the board Bronco Wild Outdoors.
So is
Facebook,
it all one
Instagram,
world?
And yep, you can just put it on one word. Yep.
There you go. Always be selling, man. You got to always be selling.
Always sell. Hey, well, one thing, I'm selling these Broncos, and I'm not really selling Broncos, right? Because here's the deal. My experience in off-roading was a couple trips to the Outer Banks, which I'm an hour and 45 minutes from.
Which you're lucky, because I've never got to experience the Outer Banks, so that's on my bucket list.
It's actually cool. When you get your Bronco, we need to do like a weekend there.
Of course.
I mean, it's really, really cool. But my experience with off-roading was in Hampton, Virginia, right? Southeastern Virginia. I drove back into these woods, and it was an abandoned Pinto on the roof, and we decided to see who could drag it through the woods the fastest. So if you rank some of the dumbest things you've ever done in your life, that would probably be one or two.
Oh, we used to play bumper cars in high school. I had an old Buick Skyhawk, an 85 Buick Skyhawk, and my buddy had a Chevy Chevette. And we would bumper car at traffic trying to get out of school. We just ram each other. Like, we were like, if I saw my kids do what I used to do, I would murder them.
You're like, you don't do that.
Yeah, exactly.
So here was this car, and this was my off-road experience. So the car was on the roof. It was a brown Pinto. It had been gutted, And so we decided that I would drag it through the woods, and I'm dragging this car, and it's bouncing on the roof, and I don't know how fast we're going. It seemed like you're going 100, but probably going 20 or 30.
Right.
And the car turned to the side, and it wedged between two trees. And it broke the strap, almost went through the windshield of the truck, and realized that I was an idiot at that moment in my life 35 years ago. So that was my off-road experience. And so being able to go to somewhere like Bronco Off-Roadeo and actually learn from people who do it, I didn't know who I was going to learn from, but I actually learned how to off-road.
Right.
And, I haven't been on the trail. So I'm a newbie. I'll admit it. And I don't claim to know it all, and I won't for a long time. I'll never know it all.
Well, and that definitely is the plus about this. And it's something you definitely respect Ford for. It's like going, hey, we know we're about to sell a bunch of these, more than likely to people who've never off-roaded. They don't know how to handle a modern four-wheel drive. And I've always said I'll always have a four-wheel drive in my fleet because we get a lot of ice and snow, and I just want to be. I don't ever want to be. I'm stuck at home because I have a rear-wheel drive BMW sitting out there that it's not going to go anywhere. I never want to be hampered by that, but I respect what they did with that. And once again, I I only poke at it was, like I said earlier, is because I think it was just kind of poor. The timing was poor. I think if they would have done that in this spring,
Right.
and
Get
but
more of the
once
units out first.
yeah, and once again, what they're doing, much like the hammock and everything, they got us like they were starting to get a lot of bad press, and they needed like people to here. Look, guys, we're really making Broncos. It's not like
Well,
the
and
old Tucker.
Yeah, and Dave, think about this. So somewhere, and I wish I could give credit to wherever I read this, but I honestly just can't remember. That I read somewhere that 70% of reservation holders were new to the Blue Oval.
Yeah.
So if that's your first experience, think about that.
Oh, definitely.
And Ford's done a great job with the Mach-E, bringing new people into the brand.
Mm-hmm.
And so with the Bronco, you have to think, well, this was a totally new vehicle, new everything about it. The technology's there. It fits a niche that Jeep's had for years. Look, I'm not a Jeep guy. I don't have anything against them. It's just that they've truly ruled that segment of the market.
Oh yeah, they really have had zero competition since maybe the mid '90s till the early '90s when Isuzu was making the Amigo. You had the little
the
Geos.
old Amiga.
Yeah, dude, I love the Amigo. That was one of my favorite off-road vehicles of all time. But they've just kind of owned that segment, and for whatever reason, nobody ever challenged them. And you can look at them, and I said this many times. They captured the heart of what makes the Wrangler cool. The way the top and stuff does. But they were also smart enough to go, you know what? I'm not doing a solid axle because that tech's old. Ford seems to be a company about new things like the EcoBoost stuff. V8s are pretty much out of Ford's normal categories. And the only thing it strikes me funny about this is Ford gets a lot of credit now for IFS in an off-road vehicle. And I look and I'm like, man, like Toyota with the 4Runner has been around forever this way. Nissan's had the Pathfinder, the Xterra, the FJ Cruiser, but suddenly nobody remembers those. It's like, oh, the Blue Oval's like really coming in with independent front suspension. And
yeah, they're coming in hot, right? They're bringing it new. Yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely. So you got your order, or you got your build, and what was your build week?
Well, it's September 6th, so the week of Labor Day.
Okay.
And
wow.
hopefully not Tuesday.
Yeah.
Friday.
Yeah. Right. So I was excited. Oh, go ahead.
I have my window sticker. I was actually that was real to me, right? Mm-hmm. When I get the email from Ford, it was great. But when I see the window sticker, for whatever reason, to me that makes it real.
Trust me, I look hourly, going, hey, it's not popped up yet. Come on, it's not popped up yet. So I can't
it's
wait.
Really cool.
Yeah, I can't wait and you're right. That's gonna make it like, oh, okay, it's really real now. But with the Bronco, they really grabbed what made Jeep special and they tried to improve on it. And I think that launch, I said this then, and I stick by it, that they made Jeep look really old really quick. Now I have a new Jeep in my driveway, and there are definitely some things that I will say that Ford could improve on that Jeep's had 25 years of this style vehicle now to really perfect. But the tech is pretty identical. I mean, I had my Gladiator right next to the Bronco. Tech side by side, everything's pretty equal. But what's not equal is the on-road handling. And did they probably didn't let you have any kind of on-road handling at the Off-Roadeo, did they? Any kind of pavement feel?
There was a couple paved trails that you would get on for maybe a quarter mile or less before you had to hop over to another, so you really get a feel for it.
Right.
So I did a review here locally of a Big Bend, non-SAS Sasquatch, and that's where I could really get the gist of it. I told them, well, yes, I've driven it off road, but it seemed like at every turn I was looking at the stars or looking at the sky and the clouds, or I was looking at the bottom of a ravine.
Right.
That's how Bronco Off-Roadeo was. You were always on that extreme. It seemed like that extreme terrain.
Yeah.
It was cool to be able to drive one on the road and say, oh wow, this is how it feels. Because in Townsend, it was that short stretch on the road, which was comfortable. but then it was, they would light it up when they got back on the trail. And I don't know how spirited your ride was, but
Oh no, yeah, they made everybody smile. I've
yeah,
got in
it
my
was fun.
video that I did on that, like he gets in it down that road, and of course you can hear the piped in kind of not V8 sound, but a deeper tone than what you hear on the outside of the truck.
Yeah,
Uh,
the
yeah,
growl, and
yeah, and I'd even asked my guy, and I literally just watched that video because I was trying to refresh my memory on something, and like even the guy's like, well, I've kind of heard that might be that, but I can't confirm it. But yeah, no, and you were lucky because you got to go up the hill. They stopped, so I got there. I guess it was Saturday when I got there, and it was pouring rain.
The rain, yeah.
And my friends with Bronco Battalion USA, they were pulling out. They're like, "Look, we're done with this rain," and they drove up from Florida to sell clothing and stuff. And they're like, "We're done." And then I hit up Misty or I hit up Heidi afterwards, and I was like, "Look, the sun came out. It was actually a pretty nice day at the end of the day, but I was bummed that I did not get to go up the hill. They took us part way, and they took my wife and my daughter up because I was filming it part way and just kind of, showed what the disconnect and all that does. But yeah, so I was, and that terrain is the terrain that I off-road. It's exactly because I off-road at Windrock Park, which is not too far from there, maybe 30 minutes from there. So it was very familiar to what I was going through, and I loved it. I was like, I'm hooked. And what did you think of Townsend, the displays they did? Because I want to say, before you answer this, I want to say Ford's display was horrible. Bronco Nation's display was like thought put into it.
Oh yeah, no. So it was my first Bronco event ever. Gavin and I went. We stayed in Pigeon Forge because we booked too late and all the little local cool places.
Yeah.
I was actually looking for houses in the area to rent,
Right.
To stay at. And
Right.
it was like the reviews were great. It was great. The silverware was nice. They had everything was clean, but the bears scratching on the side of the house were a little much or something like that. And I'm like, we'll stay in Pigeon Forge. I'm good. Yeah. Yeah. So we stayed, over in, where all the stuff was. There's a restaurant over there, and man, I recommend it. I don't want to give them a plug here, but it's just a really, really cool place.
Oh, what is it?
And so we would drive.
I'm curious what it is now.
So I'm drawing a blank. Real
Oh, okay,
quick.
okay.
It's the local goat. It's
Oh,
called
okay.
the local goat.
Yeah.
Man, that food there. I want to drive back to Tennessee to eat dinner there. Right, that's how good it was.
Nice.
So that's pretty daggone good because
Yeah.
I'm not like a. Yeah. But anyway, so we drove 35 minutes across, and it's actually where this hat. I wear this hat on all my live streams.
Right.
And it was kind of crazy. We were down there and we stopped at one of the stores between Pigeon Forge and Townsend. I forget what road that is.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a really cool place.
The drive from there to Townsend is pretty.
Oh yeah, it's nice, and the stores there, and then the event. And so I've been to a lot of car shows, and I don't want to down anyone or dump on anyone at all. But when you get into the Mustang clubs, the early Mustang stuff, it's really a tight-knit community. When you get into the later Mustang stuff, sometimes there's that power struggle between the old and the new.
Yeah.
When I went to the Bronco Supercell East, man, everyone I met was nice. Like everyone there, it was, you're new, it's your first time there. You really don't know a ton about Broncos. Come on in and let me help you out. So I told my son, I was like, this is a natural fit for us. Like everyone there was cool. We sat around the campfire, talked to a lot of people, met a lot of people that we actually still have a relationship with now that we message and talk.
Oh, nice.
Maybe see them at Supercell West and things like that.
Yeah,
so it's pretty cool. Hey, but before we get, I want to talk about my order.
Okay.
Because there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people watching maybe that they haven't received a build date yet.
Mm-hmm.
And your video really hit home because I was almost ready to sell the farm. And you did this live stream where you're like, maybe modify a little bit, but stick to what you really want. Don't end up with a Bronco that you don't want.
Right.
And so I was almost willing to give up Lux. I was willing to give up, and I did for about 3 days on tow. And something hit me. I was like, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that are going to wait until 2022 to get a hardtop.
Yeah.
Suddenly, I think that a lot of these deadly sins are now going to be freed up. So I called my dealer back. I actually emailed him and said, listen, I know you probably hate hearing from me, but I want to keep the soft top like we just changed. We changed it on a Thursday. I think you remember the live stream that came out on Bronco Nation on Wednesday?
Yes.
This was the next day.
Yes.
This was the next day, and I said, "Look, I'm changing. I'm going soft top."
Yeah.
And I also got rid of toe. Over the weekend, I thought, wait a minute. There's a lot of people that are going to wait till 2022. I'm adding toe back in.
Right.
So that was on Tuesday. I sent that email. The order was changed that day. My dealer's great. On Thursday, I received my bill date at 11:04 a.m.
Yeah.
And I was like, man. And I didn't know. I wanted to jump up and down, cry, laugh, run around the block, call my son. I was like, I've got all this serious stuff at work that I deal with, but like that took precedence over everything. I was late for a meeting because I got my bill date.
Nice. And
how crazy is this?
You can't explain that one to the meeting either.
No, I know I can't. And it's like, I'm used to doing these big real estate deals, and it's like, okay, well, I really don't care right now. I got my bill date. I want to tell someone.
Yeah, my toy. I want to play with my toy.
Yeah,
well, that was for me. After we got back, I emailed. I text I have a pretty good relationship with my salesman, and I texted him and I was like, hey, I want to convert that order back in from a 99, and then I said, hey, we're going from the Black Diamond. Let's just go. My wife wanted the Badlands more than me. I was trying to be the responsible guy and like, well, let's not spend that extra $4,000 if we don't need to. And not listening to myself going, hey, get what you want. And it wasn't even a cost. It wasn't like we can't afford it. It was just like, you're married. You understand. Like you shoot for the moon and you have, okay, I'll aim here and I'm going to settle down here. And,
You're a good negotiator because you're married.
Yes. And my wife, who I've said many times is a much better off-road driver than me, when we did that thing at Townsend and they showed that disconnect, she was like, so is ours getting that? And I was like, no. She's like, well, why not? And I was like, well, it was going to cost this. And she goes, yeah, but why not? Why are we not getting this? And so having all this extra time, like a lot of people have, and for you to change your order, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get, if I don't get my order, there's no skin off my back because I knew it was probably going to be a 22 anyways. But the only thing really I changed was the soft top. And like you, I did it late Monday, and that Thursday I heard a ding on my email and I was like, what is that? Yeah. And I was sitting in my company vehicle and I got out of the truck, and the guy that works for me, he's like, where are you going? And I'm like, I called my wife. I was like, Kelly, we got the email. Yeah. Like, I was so excited. Yeah, because I really wasn't expecting it till I thought, well, we'll get a November and I'll get it sometime December. But hey, I'm so happy about it. My chat is going crazy. You guys are holding your own conversation now. I think I just host these things just so you guys can talk to each other. I've got 102 people currently in here, and I only have 42 likes. Guys, if you would just do me the favor of smashing the like button, it just helps new people find the channel. And that's payment enough for me. If you would just simply do that, I greatly, greatly, greatly appreciate that. And also, you need to go over to Bronco Wild Outdoors, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Bronco Wild Outdoors.
And why I keep messing it up, because everybody has a Bronco sort of related name, and I get them in my head. I start mixing them all together. Go smash like or subscribe on his stuff, man. Go help our guy out, and let's the more the merrier. I'm telling you, man. Like I was watching your live. You had a few in your last live stream, but we need to get 100 or so in his next live stream. We need some participation. So,
and here's the thing about what Gavin and I do. It's real, right? So sometimes my content, like I said, the stress level sometimes on a scale of 1 to 10 is a 12, and then I come home and I do a live. It's all about just having fun. Mm-hmm. And I think when we get our Bronco, I think that's when our true mission is going to really bloom. I mean, we have a lot of cool stuff already planned, and we don't even have our Bronco yet.
Nice.
And I just can't wait. I think that the thing is that people need to remember that the Bronco, and if you're a Jeep fan, that's fine too. Your Jeep, it's all becomes an extension of getting away from the crap every single day that we have to deal with or listen to or whatever. And so you get out. I was telling Gavin. He said, Dad, what if we're off-roading and there's a Jeep stuck? Are we going to help him get out? I was like, you daggone right we are.
I like that. I like his spirit, though.
At the end of the day, we're all there for the same fun, right? We're just in different vehicles doing it. And so it's it's fun, and I have a friend with a Jeep, and we're gonna go to the Outer Banks, and we're gonna do some wheeling and some stuff, and hopefully he gets stuck and not me. But just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. But that's the thing about it is we want to make sure we have fun, and some of the content that we have planned is going to be amazing. One of which is I'm going to make my garage over. We have a
Nice.
garage makeover plan. Yeah.
Oh, nice. And well, in your line of business, that must be pretty easy to plan then, right?
Yeah, it can be. Yeah, it can be. Except for I have real high standards, and so we'll end up with something we don't need. My wife will be mad at me for. So you know how it goes.
Well,
That's just like your wife's name's Kelly, right?
Mhm.
So when she was saying, "Hey, are we going to get this way?" You're probably like, "Yes,
Oh
badly."
God, yes, yes, yeah. There was no doubt on that.
Because you're trying to be responsible, yeah.
Well, and then you got to play the coolness off. You just got to be like, you don't want to be like pounding it, like, yes, we got it. You just got to be like, oh, okay, yeah. But I'm sure my shitty grin was like, just like,
yeah,
oh yeah,
we're good, and so that's the thing. I think that Ford has really helped a lot of people so far, and then some people are just quite frankly ticked off. I get it. I was frustrated with the fact of I didn't have enough information to make an educated decision.
Yes.
I think so. When I heard the tops were done for now, and there's 4 categories, right? There was the people had taken delivery already are going to get new tops. The vehicles at maps are going to get fixed and get sent out.
Yep.
First editions were going to get finished, and then 22s would be built. Yeah. That's the 4 columns that you're going to be in.
Right.
And I said, well, I'm not going to change their decision. I'm going soft top.
Right.
All I needed was a definitive reason why I needed to go soft top now. And then the brilliant thing that they did was add the wiring for the wiper and the
that's
the rear.
what a brilliant move that was, and cost them hardly anything. And guess what? 99% of the people will never go buy a hardtop, because when they realize what a hardtop costs from the factory to get it there, you're $2,500 to $3,000 for that hardtop that they were charging $695. Because and I know the whole Dirt Mountain crew and all that the bad bunch, I know a lot of those people are upset because they're like, man, my Bronco's been showing in. I've seen it in my comments. My Bronco, was built 7/16 and it just keeps showing in production. And what that was Ford knew as soon as they were building these, they had problems, but they just had to start rolling them out. Well, then they knew it was such a problem, they had to pause everything and fix the problem, or figure out how to fix the problem. And all these people are so upset that, oh man, they're not, just ship me my Bronco. We'll fix it later. And it's like, do you realize what it costs for the Bastos plant is near MAP. The shipping there is not as expensive as it's going to be to the United States to get all these tops fixed. And I think they have almost 8,000 of them out there now. So that's a lot of money that Ford's got to come up with. So it made sense. And I know people got their feelings hurt about it, but it's like, at the end of the day, Ford's here to make money. They're here to make money on. Trust me, these Broncos do not cost $60,000 to produce by any means. They're making some money on this, and there's people that are dependent on jobs. And if they were to stop it all right now, they would shut that plant nearly down. Like, Ranger does not keep that plant completely open by itself. There's too many people there who they've hired on. We all know labor right now is a nightmare to find anybody. So once they get them, they got to use them. And so if the bad bunch will have patience, I'm telling you, they want to do right by you, and that's why they're holding on to these things.
And I would see people tell me, hey, well, I got my build date, hang in there. And I'm like, yeah, easy for you to say,
Yes.
But now I'm that person saying, hang in there. And I get it. It sounds easy at this point. But if you just simply make a change that you can comfortably live with, and it doesn't totally wreck your plans for your Bronco, and if a soft top gets it done, switch to a soft top.
Right.
But leave everything else the way it is. But look, I mean, you heard my order earlier. I have all the so-called deadly sins except the MIC top, and I'm getting a Bronco here. Well, as of right now, it's set to be built next week.
Yeah.
To think that my Bronco is sitting on part shelves somewhere right now is pretty amazing.
Oh, it's not even on part. I can tell you this from working in the manufacturer, it's not even sitting on part shelves. They haven't even stamped that thing yet.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah. Everything is just in time delivery. I worked for Nissan here in Middle Tennessee, and we made the trucks, and that's part of what I did. And there is nothing about your vehicle other than like mirrors, stuff like that. There's like 2 mirror companies in the world that make all the mirrors for cars, and there's a place in Michigan. And trust me, now they've already got your part made because it has to get there. But I remember with Nissan, when we would leave on Friday or Saturday, they'd push the order from Monday to the plant so that it was getting built that weekend to get here for everything to be assembled. Like stamping and everything. I know for Nissan, I think it was 12 hours from start to finish to stamp it, paint it, and it's rolling out the door. So,
well, and that covers the business side of things, the capital. I wish that I could do my business that way, where we could just order on demand, and it's sort of like the the Amazon. You order it and it's here next day, and then you're doing the deal. Well, we're having to hold stuff, and I get it. So that's a brilliant. I had no idea it was that finite.
Oh yeah, yeah. So I handled mirrors for the Nissan Frontier and Pathfinder and Xterra. It's a silly job, but it had to be done. I had 0 manufacturing experience. This was when the economy went to garbage, so there's nobody needing a guy to lay out subdivisions if they can't build houses. Nobody's buying them. So I went to work for Nissan. And so my job was mirrors would come in these big crates, about 60 per crate. There'd be a left side box and a right side box. And I would have to take them to this little cart that would drive out to the line. And they had to be in a particular order. And those mirrors, believe it or not, are individually built for that specific vehicle. But the balance and the beauty of it all works great till something happens. And there was a snowstorm in Michigan where they built these things, and stuff didn't get there in time. And I just would have to panically grab the color, reading the color charts that they needed to keep the line going. And to shut a line down, I think it was $3,000 or $6,000 per minute if you shut that line down. And I put a non-powered mirror in the place of where a powered mirror was supposed to go on a truck. And on the line, they don't look. They just grab, put parts on. Dude, it was 9 or 10 minutes down, and I had to walk out there and literally hand the guy the right part to fix it. And I thought, oh, I'm gone. And I really needed the job at the time. The economy was garbage. And I was like, they're going to walk me out of here. And
I'm that guy today.
Yeah. But I've also seen in auto manufacturing. So I'm sure you've watched enough videos. You see kind of they move the cars around and take them to different lines. Nissan they have 3 lines. They have the frame where they put all the stuff on the frame, your transmission, they drop the motor and everything in. They pick that up and put it where the body comes in and meets the frame. Well, from there it goes to final assembly where they put all the decals and everything on it. That lift fell, and it fell in this cage, and they couldn't get it out. And dude, I've never seen so many engineers and maintenance come through with jaws of life, and they just rip these cars apart. They're ripping this car in half because, once again, it's $6,000 a minute of downtime, and they had that thing fixed in 22 minutes, which it sounds expensive, which it was, but manufacturing, they don't care. They just need to go.
No, yeah, it's all production. It's all about time, and things are measured in I'm familiar with this, but things are measured in minutes there, right?
Yes.
So, yeah, and that's the thing about for us in our business. I can see a lot of things with automotive, and I had no idea. A vehicle shows up at the dealership, I buy it, I drive it home, it's mine. This has been the first deal since launch, before it was really built. There's concept vehicles out there, then there's pre-production models that we all got a chance to drive or ride in. At least I drove in Texas, and then you start to see the finished product hit the road, and it's amazing to watch all of the detail. And it's a lot more to it than I ever thought it was. And so, first of all, if there's anyone watching tonight that works at MAP or any other manufacturing place, hey, I totally respect you. The more I learn about what your job is and how it's done, like I'm in all of it.
Let me tell you this. Here's how they don't care. And I say this, they don't care, but they care about their employees. But So there was a person on the Nissan line who cut their hand badly, where they're bleeding. They continue to work. They got blood going everywhere. These manufacturing plants have little mini ambulances, like little golf carts. They're ambulances. They come while that person's holding their hand out. They're not stitching it, but they're bandaging him up as the guy is still continuing to do his job with one hand. And now a lot of times they have a guy that floats between the lines and he can jump in and do your job while you're taking a break or whatever. But they don't play around, and all these plants are like that. And I think if people really knew how the hard work people do at manufacturing put into these things, they would totally respect their vehicles a little bit more. Because you were talking about earlier about the Amazon culture of like, oh, I just buy it, it shows up, where's my vehicle? Right. We are bad about that now with cars and these awesome launches they do. We don't realize that Ford wasn't ready at that launch to start delivering vehicles. They were still fine-tuning the thing.
And like you said, maybe 100,000, but 190, come on. And I mean, maybe that number is a lot more now. I know some people backed out, but then how many more new buyers are in there? So I believe the number is probably over 200,000, if I had to guess.
Right. And first, I got to say, Mr. Peugeot, where is your two-door soft top? It's not going to happen. I hate to be that guy, but I've said this on a few lives, and I cannot find the federal regulations on this, but they have to sell so many hard tops of anything before they can start offering soft tops. And it's a crash thing. And, Jeep gets away with this because Jeep is pretty good about, they know, at launch they had so many, and this JL was launched in 2018. So they've met there's so many Jeep two-doors with the hard tops out there now, so they can offer soft tops. Ford can't get any Broncos two-doors out at all. They can't meet the requirements to start offering soft tops. And I think Ford with the soft tops are smart too. They're like, look, the two-door is already a needle in a haystack that people want. I ordered one. I like the two-door. I think the two-door nailed the classic look of a Bronco. If you want that Gen 1, Absolutely. It just nailed it. But we don't live in a two-door world anymore. So Ford knows the four-door is where the money's at. And so they're like, well, we'll make a two-door, but you're not going to get everything. We just can't spend the money to give everything away instantly. So I think in a couple years you'll see soft tops for those. But I know it's a bummer for everybody that wants the hard top or just wants a two-door and they can't get it, and they don't. It's frustrating. They don't know why. Also, Keith, thank you, sir. Cheers, sir. Thank you for that super chat. Guys, I do not beg for that stuff by any means, but I will be honest and say it greatly helps the future of the channel. So thank you so much for that. And we're up to 72 likes and 106 viewers. Guys, come on. Help me out with that. I greatly appreciate that.
What do you think about the fastback best top, soft top?
Well, initially I thought they were horrible. And then I saw them at Celebration East in person. We were talking about the Area 51. Sometimes in person, people like it and they don't. And I just didn't after I seen it. It was one of those things that I had to flip on. And I said it in the video that I did for Celebration East that I had to eat crow, that it actually in person looks really, really good, especially on the two-door. The four-door I'm a little iffy on yet. But I think the soft tops in general on these things, aftermarket, I mean, best top, my understanding, best top makes both the factory and the aftermarket. But they need to tweak these a little bit, because even the one that Tommy over at TFL just put on their first edition, the fastback, they just don't work super great. Like the best top one only goes back halfway. You can't fold it all the way back like the factory one. Even getting in the rear seems to be kind of but two-door, I know that's long-winded, but two-door, I really like it. Four-door, I'm meh.
Yeah, so it's kind of out on that. When I saw it, it's growing on me. It really is. Initially, I didn't like it, but it's starting to, kind of grow on me. I was watching a video today, and someone did a red, I think it was a rapid red build, maybe a Ford aftermarket, where they added all the Ford parts onto it, and it was pretty good. I mean, I liked it.
Nice.
The color thing, I'll tell you this, when we jump back to the color, it haunted me. My wife got she's like, will you pick a color and stop worrying?
It sounds like my wife.
I'm thinking, initially it was cactus gray. And then it's like, okay, I went away from that in Area 51, and then maybe it's race red. But I had a solid red vehicle before, non-metallic,
Hmm.
and it kind of dulled up a little bit. And I'm like, all right, well, maybe about rapid red. I like the metal flake in rapid red. It's very rich looking.
Hmm.
And it reminded me of the old Mustang color, the Cabernet red.
Yeah.
And so I'm like partial to that anyway. And anyway, it's back to Area 51. And then the next day I'm changing it again. And she's like, oh my, she finally just said, will you just stop? Leave it Area 51. I like it. And then I decided how I'm going to make Area 51 uniquely ours. And that's where all the orange stuff's coming in.
Yeah.
And I've never been a buyer of, what is it, PPF.
Hmm.
So I guess what we're going to do is custom logos, stripes, and whatever we do, and then wrap the entire thing and see how it looks. So,
Well, I suggest PPF on basically any modern vehicle now because the paint they're painting these very thin. They're trying to save weight anywhere they can, and that sounds ridiculous. You're like, well, paint doesn't weigh that much. You would be surprised what painting a vehicle actually adds to the weight of it. So they thin out on all that stuff, and I covered the Nissan Frontier launch this past week. They, from the factory, like, oh, add PPF to the front of it because all these manufacturers know. Ford knew when they put that as an option. They know these things aren't. Yeah, they're gonna get beat up. But I suggest PPF for the whole thing because these are vehicles, especially this style vehicle, is a vehicle that you don't just keep a couple years and you move on. These are 5 to 10 year purchases, or the way I see Wrangler guy buys. And you want that to hold up as best as possible. So I know it's expensive. You can get $3 to $5 grand in PPF alone. But
I was quoted some
yeah. But it's definitely Danny's in the house. What's up, Dan? It's definitely worth it though. And I know Danny, you just bought that 18 F-150, and he sent me some pictures of it where it's pretty chipped up already. And if they would have PPF'd it, I would have. You wouldn't have had that problem.
So in Texas, real quick, I'll tell you this, Dave. One of the things I wanted to look at was how well are they holding up. They're getting muddy. They're getting washed every day.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't that bad, but you could start to see, that you would think that PPF would have really helped on that.
Well, and that's on the fender design. I've mentioned this a few times. The fender design, especially for Sasquatch, they're so wide, but guess what? It doesn't cover enough, and you see spray all over the doors. And think about that. That's just sandblasting. If you're off-road quite a bit or you live down a gravel road or something, you're just sandblasting the side of your door there. And I suggest at least the front and side of this vehicle, if you can afford to do that. If not, it's not going to be the end of the world. People will, there's always custom paint shops for a reason, later down the road. Because you can get honestly, you could about get a paint job anymore for what the PPF's going to cost.
And one of your viewers said wrap it. Like I also thought about maybe I just do a white one and then wrap it, or do something maybe black where a color would go with the black roll. I know they don't call it a roll bar, but the
sport bar.
Steel, yeah, sport bar, right? And the door handles and mirrors and something. So maybe you go black and then you wrap it to fit your needs. And so that was an early on to maybe, but I just figured the heck with it. I just want to get it. So
that was me and my wife. That was part of our discussion because our friends over at Lifestyle Off-Road could wrap this for us. And at some point I'll have some custom graphics put on this thing because it is a business vehicle. But I want it to look as nice as possible for as long as possible, And that's the biggest. And like I said, I will go off-road this, and I will have a blast in it, and at some point it's going to get a dent in it, sadly. But I love that you can remove the fenders and go have them renew fenders painted, plop them back on there. And, Ford did think of that, which was really nice, that you could change that. Did you watch the Sema last year, the Sema reveal, the little black Bronco, the two-door they did? What was your impressions? Yeah. What was your impressions of that?
Well, I thought it was awesome. So they really changed it up. There was some, I think, gloss and matte black on it, and maybe some designs, maybe a little bit of orange. I think, wasn't it a two-door? Was it a two-door that they did, or was it a four?
Yeah, it was a two-door.
Yeah. Yeah, so I like that. I thought it was cool. I think what it did in one video, it was brilliant, really. It showed what you could do cosmetically to this Bronco with the modularity.
Right.
And I think that's something we get lost in. The modularity of this thing is incredible. What if you change something today and you decide, well, I want to redo it? It's not like painting the entire vehicle. Maybe I swap out the fenders. Um, I was kind of thinking someone at some point in time are going to do clear fenders on this thing. So
Oh
they're going
yeah.
to see sort of that RoboCop look
Yeah.
kind of thing and see the inner workings. I mean, I know it's going to happen.
Right.
Uh,
I
y-
like
you
the
know,
square fenders of it, the way the wheel openings, they changed it to more of that classic look, which is
yep.
that if I had to nitpick the Bronco, that's the one thing. I don't like the round fenders. I understand why they did it because they want to shove as big a wheel as possible in that.
Yeah.
I just like that classic, more traditional look of those fenders.
Well, and think about the aftermarket world. As more of the Broncos hit, and I know a lot of companies are taking delivery of Broncos to make parts. I was watching a video you posted it from Lifestyle Off-Road, right, where they did the wrap.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're doing a front bumper or something like
Yeah,
that. That's really
they've got
yeah.
front bumpers, rear bumpers, rock sliders coming, and I forget a lift coming for it.
So it's just the beginning of all this stuff.
Oh yeah.
And I think that's something that the in the Jeep universe has done incredibly well. Is you see all the different things that are out there. There's probably so many options that it almost have to be in the niche that you're in.
Yeah.
Right? Are you doing a big 40 plus inch Jeep, or are you doing? I think you even said this today or the other day. Maybe the solid axle for 40-inch tires and above is the way to go, but
Yeah.
IFS it's up to 37s.
Yeah.
I mean, I think you're spot on with that. And so it's almost like as these companies, they're going to push the boundaries of what will the Bronco take? What can you do to it? And, I'm looking for the performance on the engine. One thing that I've had and I've seen a lot of videos, what makes you decide between a 2.3 and a 2.7? Well, I'm a 2.7 fan because of torque.
Mm-hmm.
And I look at the 2.7 makes more, it makes as much or more torque at a lower RPM, maybe 2,900 versus 3,900.
Yeah, I don't remember.
If you look at the nature of off-roading, I think it's like 2,900 so the 2.7 makes more torque at a lower RPM.
Mm-hmm.
So if you think about off-roading, unless you're doing Baja, you're at a lower RPM, right?
Yeah.
So to me, it made more sense to go 2.7 for that higher torque band.
Right. I'm an old school guy though. I always want the largest engine available. And you being a Mustang guy, that had to be kind of part of it, right? Yeah. You don't want the a Roush or something because they put an EcoBoost 2.3 in it, right? You want a Roush because they put the big V8 in it.
Yeah, you see the roof of this car here behind me has a 340 has a Roush 347 in it.
Yeah, nice.
So I'm used to the big cam, the high compression, with just a torque band that'll just carry you out of here. It's a different vehicle, right? Nashville, this car's been around Nashville Super Speedway, Charlotte.
Nice.
I'm a fan of the big stuff for the Mustang shows.
Yeah.
Off-roading's a little bit different, and the Bronco's different. But the one thing I'll tell you is that the 2.7, when we were able to get a little bit of speed, they called me and I mean, this is going to sound bad saying this. I think it was called the lag and drag champion. So I was the last Bronco, which I wanted to bring up something if we could about water on hills.
Of course.
But I was the last Bronco, and at some point that they would radio and say, "Is everybody caught up?" But there was this one guy that was waiting for that, that running start to the next hill or whatever, and that was me. But I wanted to see the capability of the Bronco there, and it really was surprising. Something that you probably know quite well, but for me being a newbie in off-roading, when I was the last of maybe, I don't know how many were in our group, 18, 20 Broncos.
Mm-hmm.
So the first group would go up a hill, right? A little rock climbing, and you would go through a wash, and then you would go up the hill. The first handful of Broncos went up no problem. Then the middle of the pack, you started seeing a lot of slipping and sliding.
Yeah.
And so at the end, we were getting all the mud and the crap up the rocks and everything else. And so that's where we really got to decide between the front and rear locker. And what was amazing is that most of the time, if I hit the front locker, it would take me up anywhere. There was only one hill I had to have the front and rear locker engaged.
Well, yeah. So grip is king, and the first thing your vehicle hits is the front. So yeah, if you can get grip going, the rear will take you up. Yeah, easy buttons is what we call those.
Yeah, and it was amazing to see the front Broncos. You would debrief at the end and say, okay, well, what mode were you in? Because what you're trying to do is you're trying to figure out at what terrain do I need to be in what mode. That was what Bronco Off-Roadeo was to me. It was a learning curve.
Yeah.
And and other than trying to see how fast the Bronco would go, but you couldn't go that fast. But we would go up this hill, and suddenly I'm figuring out, I'm in rock crawl. But I don't want the sway bar disconnected because I'm not really on rough terrain. I'm going up a pretty steep hill. I'm looking at clouds in front of me, and I wanted grip and I wanted comfort. So there was only one hill I had to have front and rear lockers going. So
right. What did you think of the at the end? I think it's at the end where they do the little high speed. You can go around the course.
Well, that's where we got the Bronco on two wheels. So
okay.
Yeah, if you look at that video, I mean, my daughter's in the back. I don't know what, I had some kind of cackle or something at the end of it, man. I was just like, it was crazy to bring the Bronco up like that, but it was incredibly fast. It gripped, the bite was good on it. I don't think I've ever been on dirt and heard tires squealing.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, it's crazy to hear it squeal.
Yeah, and the trail guides were great. Like I said, and it's not a commercial for them at all, but it's you felt like you knew them for a lot, forever. And these are guys who do some wheeling, and it was just really, really cool. So I'm learning this, and I figured, what the heck? I'm learning from these guys who do it a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, guys that go out in Moab on a Thursday and come back on Monday.
Yeah.
It was like, dang. It's a little bit of overlanding in that and a whole lot of four-wheeling.
Well, I have to say, too, like part of me getting my Bronco is next spring I've been planning a trip to Moab in it. So that's one thing I will say that I've wheeled Moab in some Nissans and some Toyotas, but I always fly out there, and I have a buddy. He's like, here's my keys for the weekend. Go have fun. But I'm
good buddy.
Oh yeah. Well, a lot of people in the off-road world. They like you. They'll share their vehicles with you. It's kind of nice.
There you go.
But this will be the first vehicle that I plan on driving all the way out there and back. And I know the capability is there for the off-road part. But when I took the Jeep to Michigan 2 weeks ago or last weekend, whenever it was, just horrible to ride that far in the Jeep. And then I had Dr. Detroit's Bronco for the weekend. Never had any issues. They ride so comfortable. And some of that, I would say, is probably the independent front suspension. But ultimately, I think the seating is just so much better than Jeeps, man. I'm super pumped for this long trip in this thing.
Yeah. And hey, something that even off-roading, the little footrest I saw in your video.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Like, it's crazy is that at some point when if you had trail descent engaged, I was going down this one hill, and you learn trust in your spotters because I'm not in a world where you have a spotter, right? But someone's telling you to turn driver, turn passenger.
Yeah.
To me, in the driver's seat, it looks like I need more passenger. They're telling me more driver, so I'm having to trust them. Was also trusting the technology in the Bronco with deciding. We're not deciding, but I would set trail descent on 1, and I'm going down this really slippery slope, and I'm having to take my foot off the brake, and that's where I rested. My left foot was on that little pedal there, or that pad, and I'm thinking, man, I'm having to trust a vehicle and people to go down this hill, and it just wasn't natural not to have my foot on the brake.
Right. Oh no, I have lots of control issues. So, and speaking of like trail spotters, my buddy DeGroot X and there, Danny, my co-host, like there's very few people that I trust, and I trust Danny a lot. And we were doing, I can't remember what trail it was that me and Danny were doing. Danny was leading this trail, and there's a horseshoe at the end, and the horseshoe that you do, I want to say it's 7 Mile Rim. So you come up and then you turn sideways, and your vehicle's like not. It feels like it's on its side, but you're really in reality like this. But all you see is you're leaning like this, and you see down there, and you're hoping you follow the black marks on the rocks that you're following. Yeah. And Danny got busy doing something else, and my wife was freaking out because we both have a lot of control issues, and I heard Danny like effing like get over here and help us out. But if you guys want, we got Mitchell, we got royalty, we got Mr. Mitchell in the house. What's going on, Mr. Town and Country TV?
Hey, Mitchell's here.
Yeah,
I met him and Supercell East. Heck of a nice guy.
Yeah, my first introduction to Mitchell was when he did the review over what was it? The Supercell got delayed last year, and it was in October, whenever, and that's when they showed the little black two-door and stuff. What is going on, Mr. Town and Country? Digging that GT you got there, sir. I've actually been meaning to drive down to Mitchell's, one of their many places down there in Alabama, and check out one of their shops. But anyways, welcome in, Mitchell. So with what you know of Bronco now, and where your channel is at,
yep.
I'm curious what you think with you've got a Badlands coming, but that's not going to be the biggest and baddest Bronco pretty soon. Where do you stand with the Raptor-ish, Warthog, whatever they're going to call it this week, Bronco? And I'm curious, what do you think is going to be under the hood of that thing?
All right. So in my opinion, it would be the 3-liter, was it 3.5 Raptor engine?
Well, yeah.
It was a 3.5, right? Yeah. So I don't think it's a V8.
No.
I think those days are, unfortunately for this vehicle. I think that Ford has to probably deal with the reality of politics.
Right.
And so the idea that the more vehicles you can do with the smaller engines, the better. I would say, though, that the Bronco with the 2.7, I mean, 2.3 even, but the 2.7 for sure at Bronco Off-Roadeo, I can tell you, was enough engine for that Bronco.
Yeah.
Part of my priority code 99 is there's a little bit of me out there that is waiting for that type of vehicle.
Right.
And maybe that's something that we try to get. Now, a lot of dealers have been really good at giving it to you MSRP. Some dealers not, some are under. I get it. But I would say something like a Raptor, you're probably pretty much going to pay a premium for.
Well,
in my humble opinion.
And I haven't thought of this till you said that. I'm curious that I doubt Ford allows you to hold your reservation for a Raptor or whatever they're going to call it. I bet that's a whole separate reservation. And then How many people do you piss off that way? Like, people go, oh, okay, I got my reservation, and because I don't think it's coming until late 23 anyways, but but I really I think it's going to be the 3.5 in that thing. And I think they hit 450 horsepower, and which is way too much for that vehicle. I think you nailed it. The 2.7 is perfect in this thing, and the thing I see in all these forums and stuff, people get out, and TFL and all these guys do it, of drag racing. 0 to 60, this and that. And I'm like, it's an off-road vehicle. I could care less what 0 to 60 is. And I'll be honest, when I had Dr. Detroit's first edition this past weekend, the 0 to 25 is horrible.
Yeah,
exactly. It's on purpose. They didn't design this thing for takeoff because it shifts so quick. You can be in fourth before you know it at 25 miles an hour. And at 25 miles an hour, it does make it sort of feel like a dog to 35. But man, once you stomp it around 25 to 35, it will put you back, and you're going to have a good time with this thing.
Yeah, and the nature of a turbo, is you have to give it a minute to get there. My Mustang is naturally aspirated. And it pretty much has instant response. So you touch the gas, you feel it, you hear it, you go.
Yeah.
Whereas the turbo, I think, is a little more tame, which I really like. Another thing I learned wheeling there was throttle control. So, if you gas it too hard, if you have too much reaction, if the engine is too responsive, you can break traction, and momentum's key, right?
Did they teach you brake torque?
I don't remember that. I don't remember the term.
Well, it's almost like it's kind of an old school way. If you don't have lockers, you push in the brake, give it gas. You're letting that build up torque.
Yes.
And it keeps the RPMs are going up, but once you let off the brake a little bit, it allows you more control to creep up things.
Well, and that's where basically you hit the off-road cruise control and let the Bronco's computer do that for you. If there's ever that question, that's what I really think about the technique and technology. When you bring the two things together, I was super impressed because yes, I am new with it. But think about this: is I don't have all of the other ways of doing it, and now I'm trying to convert to the new way. I get to start this way. Yeah. I would not say it's a new way. It's not. There's not a right or a wrong. I think it's just a newbie in the Bronco versus someone that's more seasoned in an older vehicle. Probably, if technology fails, you want to be able to feel it, right? You want to be able to. And that's where you've done it for years. What'd you say? Over 20?
Oh yeah, about 25 years.
Yeah, so you know the feel of it, and I'm wondering if you know the hardcore raw feel of it. How's the technology going to mess with you? Is it okay, or is it going to?
I think there's going to, for me, there'll be a little adapting to some of that. Yeah. But what I'm talking about too is if you've done Mustangs, you probably know at a red light or whatever, you're wanting to launch the car a little bit. You're holding that brake. You start giving it a little gas so it just doesn't rip. You know what I mean? Yeah, and it's the same thing off road. Yeah, and I think definitely the GOAT modes are going to affect throttle response, all that like you're talking about, and I think make it it'll be real nice.
Well, I think that the sport mode really changes maybe gearing, response time, something like that, versus rock crawling, a little bit different.
Well, I don't think Badlands get sport mode though.
No, Badland does not get sport mode. That's I know it's in a wild track.
Yeah, which so let's kind of we'll wind up for you because you do normally shorter shows. So I'm probably wearing you out over here.
I'm trying to hang with you, Dave. I mean,
I did a 3-hour.
You do them for like 3 days.
Yeah,
you do them for like 3 days straight.
Well, I don't want to wear you out, but So, gosh, now I lost my train of thought there. Where are your channel headed? What's the first thing you're going to modify on yours as you get it? What do you think? We all want to make these our own. Is it going to be wheels, tires?
Funny thing is I don't mind the wheels that are on it. Now maybe they'll grow out of them, but I think what I'm going to do is change the bead lock, what do they call it? The soft aluminum. Basically, I call it polished aluminum ring. Yeah. I want to do a color on that, and I'm really liking the orange. I know it's predictable at this point, but it's going to be cosmetic. It's also going to be lights, ditch lights, lights on the top, winch. I do have the modular bumper coming, but maybe I just switch altogether. There was someone, and I wanted to mention it tonight, and I can't remember who it was. You might know that they've relocated the front camera on top.
I've heard of talk, but I haven't got to see that yet.
Okay, so there's a video floating around, and I was trying to remember earlier before I brought it up, but I'll bring it up, and I don't know who I'm talking about. But they relocated the camera, which is kind of what I'm looking for. I wanted that front camera, but I want the winch, and I wanted maybe a beefier bumper, and also the parking assist. Even though I don't need parking assist, if I hear something, I'll stop. But by the way, when you're off-roading, you can turn that off easily. I know some people think they're going to hear it beeping through the trails.
Right.
But I wanted that. I want to do something. It's all going to be cosmetic, right? And there's a lot of it. I don't really know what kind of two-way communication radios we're going to put in this thing and stuff like that. But at some point, when the new wears off, we'll probably start doing something maybe to try to squeeze a little bit more torque out of the engine.
Yeah. There's definitely Ford Performance. I know with the 2.3, they've talked about they're going to offer a tune. They have to offer a tune. If they do it in the 2.3, they're going to have to offer a tune for the 2.7. And man, tuning a vehicle like that, it makes all the difference. It really does.
Hey, I want to ask you something. Do you know what the louvers are in the front of in the grill?
Well, for aerodynamics, yeah, definitely.
These look like they have actuators on them.
Well, because they're active, so they will shut off when the vehicle doesn't need to. It feels like it's cool on the highway. They'll close to kind of help with somewhat aerodynamics.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that was actually kind of a cool feature though that they have that Jeep doesn't have at all by any means. Is
Yeah,
that
and I
active?
also like the trap door in the airbox for the engine.
Mm-hmm.
If you get a slurp of water in the airbox, as long as you're not, gassing it, and you have a lot of air going in the engine, there's that trap door that drops the water down below that. That
Yeah.
was a cool feature too that
Well, yeah,
I
and
just noticed.
a lot of that is like snorkel technology, the way the
Yep.
snorkels do. So they've just incorporated that into there. Let's see. There was somebody. Oh, in Peugeot, which 235 40 18 tire do you recommend for drag racing?
Yeah.
None.
A little heavy.
Oh, let's see. Danny, thank you for being in the chat tonight, man. You seem to have your own thing going on, and there was one comment that I wanted to. There was where'd it go? Oh, Dave's OnlyFans. Thanks, B. Warren. Yeah, my OnlyFans is it's gonna pay for my Bronco, right? So, sir, bring out where can people find you? What I'm curious. What's Oh, wait. Amanda P says I just need you to shout out my husband Jake P. Jake P, what's up, buddy?
Hey, Jake P, what's happening?
But thank you for that super chat. So where are you guys headed next? What's the next couple videos? Are you just going to do the live streams, or you got something prepared?
Nope. So we have a video we were going to do. I intended on doing it last week. We kind of want to wrap up how we got to where we are now with the build date. So my final build, or I did a video early on, my build explained. It's changed several times, and so now we have a build date. So we're going to kind of go over our order, what exactly I'm getting now, and what did it take to get it from the hanging in the universe to an actual build date.
Right.
And what did I do to make that happen? So that's our next video.
Nice.
We have sort of a video of top 5 things you may not know about a Bronco. A few of the things, crash bars are mixed in there with that. Some people are quite familiar with Sasquatch, non-scratch on crash bars. And I think after that, hopefully our Bronco's showing up.
My people in my chat are killing me. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. I didn't want you thinking I was laughing at what's.
Oh, no. I get it. Hey, I watch it all the time. It's pretty great. I love it.
So
the next thing is, Gavin and I are going to do some really cool stuff. It's the lifestyle. It's seeing a father and son travel the country.
Nice.
We're going to do an East Coast coastal trip down to Florida. We will go to California, depending on everything in the world going on, but maybe next spring at this point.
Nice.
And there's a lot of cool stuff in between. We have some Christmas parades, a car show. We're going to do something at a car show other than drive it there if they'll let me.
Right.
We actually, in the building business, man, I got to bring it.
Oh, yeah.
And we started designing a interactive sort of a display for the Bronco. So we'll see if they let me do it. We're gonna knock that out. So I can't wait to do my first real estate deal in a new Bronco. So I figure, what the heck, that'll be my first.
All right. Right.
Yeah.
And you could be like the first to do it, because I haven't heard of any real estate agents owning any yet or anything like
or
that.
Builders or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I know it's kind of goofy, but at this point we're looking for that first thing to do. And our first trip will be the Outer Banks. It's a Corova and Corolla up north, northern Outer Banks, and then by the time we get our Badlands, the Hatters will open up, because that's open up typically after, I think, September.
Right.
So, hey, we'll be at Hatters as well. So that's kind of the first few things. What we want people to be able to have an outlet to go to our channel and see a father and son goofing off, occasionally wife and daughter showing up, but mainly him and I. Yeah.
Yeah. They're going to mess the party up, man.
When we want to go camping, they want to go glamping. So I'm like, well, okay, you guys can stay in the heated and cooled cabin with a big screen TV, and we'll sleep outside with the bears. I don't care.
Nice. Well,
that's kind of where we're going with it.
So social medias, what social medias can we follow you on?
Facebook, Bronco Wild Outdoors. Instagram, Bronco Wild Outdoors. We try to make this easy. And, of course, YouTube at Bronco Wild Outdoors.
It's pretty difficult to find you.
Make it easy.
Well, there you go, man. Guys, go over to Bronco Wild Outdoors and smash the subscribe button. Help him. Let's get 400 subs over there real quick for him, man. So help me out helping another Bronco friend out. And dude, let's check back sometime around Christmas because I'm curious. I kind of want your ideas of where you're at with it after having it for a couple months, and maybe we can pass notes across and go from there. But dude, it was awesome to have you on. I had no idea how well this was going to go, and this was really, really good. So I quite enjoyed it, and I hope you did too. And so there you go, guys.
Hey, I did, and I appreciate it, Dave. Really, I love your show. You're great. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir. So guys, hang out just a second. I will be right back. I want to talk shop just a second, and we'll go from there. Well, there you go, guys. That was awesome, man. I like I said, I had no idea how well that would go, and I really enjoyed that conversation. If you guys will go over and once again like and subscribe to his channel. His son is on there. It's fun. I like seeing a father-son do it, and it's just not with some camera phone or whatever. You know, it's shaking. You're watching. They actually do a little production, and I do like what they got going on. Guys, you guys are crazy tonight, man. And I haven't even I haven't even finished that one, and then I got a special shot here, man. So you guys are gone nuts, and I love it. And everybody that's done the super chats, I seriously, I don't say this begging for it. I just say thank you so much for that because it does help the channel grow. And Danny said he would start popping beers right now if you guys would continue that. But anyways. Man, what is going on? Dan, you want to jump in on this? I don't care if you got time, you can jump in on it, but we'll answer some Bronco questions. You guys load them up and we'll get to it. Mitchell, I doubt you're still in here, but what's going on, buddy? We got to get Mitchell on here sometime. I think that would be fun. Get him away from the Bronco Nation guys just a little bit. We'll let Mitchell let his hair down a little bit, and we'll try to get him on here. So you guys reach out to Mitchell. Tell him you want to see him on All Terrain Nation. All right, one down. There we go. All right, so then now we have special side shots. Yes, Matt, I have. This is for God, I can't remember the gentleman's name that bought this for me, but he bought me some whiskey, sent it to my house, and I had to do a shot for him. So, anyways, let's see. Mitchell is 6'3". We know Mitchell's 6'3" because he says it in a lot of. There's Mitchell. Mitchell, let's get you on the show, man. Let's like I said, I want to get you on here and talk shop a little bit because I have a bunch of friends in the auto world, and I'm always looking to make more. Mitchell, how is your Badlands? You guys have done a lot to that thing. It looks pretty fun. I watched your last video. It was a shame that 4 Wheel Parts had to do that, put those parts on for you, but you know, Bronco Nation shills. Oh man. We do love our Bronco Nation on here. No, definitely, Mitchell. I will reach out somehow to you guys, and you can always get me at alltrainnationmedia@gmail.com. Let's set something up, man. I think people would enjoy having you on here. All right, so guys, where are we at in the Bronco world? Obviously, you guys know I have my VIN now, which was quite surprising. If you didn't watch the video, last Monday I changed my order from a 99 to a buildable order. Not expecting anything, and well, somehow my order popped up, so I'm very happy about that. I did switch from my Black Diamond to a Badlands, not because I thought that would get my build any quicker, just because you heard in the interview, my wife wanted the sway disconnected. Who am I to say no? But, you know, the Deadly Sins thing, I think I don't want to say just my order proves it, but I've talked to enough people and I've gotten enough people to switch just solely to a soft top, and they get builds. And I don't think that the deadly sins. I think at some point, obviously, commodities right now, the way the world is, there are holdups on some things, but I think I don't think a hitch anymore is going to hold up anybody from getting their Bronco. So, hands up, yes, if you got a VIN. Where is my bad bunch group? Where you guys at tonight, man? I will, Mitch. I'll hit you up. Where's my what is going on with my bad bunch, guys? When I was up at MAP last weekend, I seen them taking a bunch of Broncos off site, and I kind of wanted to follow, but at the same point, I didn't want to be a douchebag about it and be, there's so many pictures and stuff floating around. There was no news to cover there. I just kind of wanted to see it for myself, but I did want to see Dirt Mountain. And what do you all speculate that the dirt's for there? I am kind of curious. What is the dirt about at Dirt Mountain? Is it do we know? Do we know it all? Let's see. Yes, a girl's got to have her stay bar disconnect. Danny, wait, are you trying to come on, Dan? I didn't see let me pop Discord back up. No, the Groot X, I don't see you up there, buddy. I don't know if you were talking to me or not. But who else wants to be on the show tonight, man? Let's just keep this going. I've done 3 hours at this before, and we're only at an hour and 47. Let's see. What do you guys got going on in the chats tonight? My Rapid Red, man. I had to have that Rapid Red, and like I said in that video, me and Kelly talked about it. We discussed it, and there was just no way around it. I'm not a fan of that green at all. I don't dog anybody that likes it. I know just for me, it oh, hell yeah, Danny, you got a 4-day weekend? Danny, get on Discord, dude. Let's do this. But Rapid Red for me was definitely a key feature. The Sasquatch, obviously, the 2.7 was a key feature. I could have lived without the hitch. I could have made my own hitch, let's be honest. That's I do welding. It's not it's a pretty simple design. I just, with the laziness, I know it's expensive, what, $600 for a hitch and some wiring, but just the oldness and laziness of me, I was just like, eh. And Bijou, do you know what you're asking for? Of course I do. Let's see. Danny, Danny, you are totally ignoring me, sir. It's like you did on the trail out in Moab. You just completely ignored me. And I did get all the Dave's not here jokes. All right, Cheech and Chong. Oh, Danny, is that okay for me? I've got questions, Dan. You need to answer them, or you need to ask me questions. I don't know. I'm feeling tonight. We got, here in Middle Tennessee, we've got hurricane coming through. What else we got to do, man? That probably won't work tomorrow. Why not just continue this party on? If you have not yet, please like and subscribe to the channel. Smashing that like button especially just helps the channel grow. And I know I repeat that a lot, but it's just for the new people that pop in. I do greatly appreciate that. A hitch for what? 350 pounds? Yeah. Well, there is that. The towing, 3,500 pounds towing is pretty ridiculous, but it's in line with what Jeep does. I know everybody fusses about that. It's like, well, that's really not much, but I didn't buy a Bronco to be a towing machine. It can, 3,500 pounds will tow your boat plenty fine. Trust me, I had an old Xterra that would tow my 19-foot boat somewhat adequately, and it had a little 165 horsepower engine. I'm talking my 2.7. What is it? 330? I don't remember anymore, but I think we're okay with that. And I'm not. Is Murfreesboro still meth and sadness? Andy, no. Murfreesboro, that would be Woodbury, Tennessee. That's about 20 minutes that way. There is that Danny? Are you guys ready for Dan? You got to be ready for the greatness of DeGroot. I'm going to play this real quick. Here? Hold on, Dan. I got to find. I don't see your video, buddy. It's like you don't want the people to see what you look like.
I had to turn on my camera.
Well, all right, let's see. Did I get Danny up there? Bam. Well, I have to edit you, Dan, but we're gonna get you there. We're gonna get you there.
Good
Dan,
time chats, Dave.
what are you doing, buddy?
I was just sipping wine like a classy gentleman on the couch.
You
while
are
my wife looked
you
at me
are a classy
strangely.
gentleman. You are, sir.
Uh,
Did you get a hangover the other night? I mean, you went a little. So if you don't know, Danny decided that he didn't realize that this channel versus our just Nissan only channel has a little bit larger audience, and I want to break that down a little bit. Dan, you kind of opened your mouth, and how many beers did you end up drinking that night just because you were being fun?
I threw away nine beers, and I think I had thrown one away. I'm gonna say it was 10, but yeah, it was a lot of beers. I was burping a lot.
Yeah.
And I went into my room in the evening. My wife's laying in bed, and I remember grabbing, like, I hadn't eaten all night. I grabbed a plate of food, and I was just like, "Yes, yeah, I'm kind of drunk." And I was like, and she's like, "What happened?" And then I caught her the next day watching the show on YouTube, which she rarely ever does. And so she was watching it, and I was listening to myself going, "Oh my gosh, what an idiot!" There was like a couple questions you asked, and I just went on some wild tangent. So,
yeah. Oh no, it's always a good time when Danny gets. I mean, not that we promote drinking or anything on the show, but it's always a good time when it was a Friday. Yep. We're both letting our hair down, kind of thing, just having a good time. And Danny, I honestly kind of feel that you're starting to be a lightweight in your older age, buddy. Like, you just can't hold it like you used to.
I mean, here's the thing: is I didn't eat dinner, and half those, I want to say almost half those beers, it was like a shotgun status. I mean, it wasn't like a full shotgun, but I mean, I took them to the head straight off. So, I mean, 10 beers, and I was still rolling solid. I wasn't super hungover. I woke up with a little bit of a headache.
Yeah.
And I worked on my race truck all day. So, I mean, I feel like I did myself proud. I did all right.
Nice. Well, so Ashley says, I ordered something from Wish last night. I'm going to see which one gets here first. And he's betting it's Wish over his Bronco. So Dan, you're kind of an independent. You're kind of an independent. Yeah, you're kind of independent on this, man. How do you talk to these people that have been waiting for over a year now? What would you say to these people, in all honesty, of how do you hang on over a year now and you still have got no idea whether your Bronco's coming or not?
I'm kind of sad for them, to tell you the truth. I mean, I just walked into a dealership and got the truck that I've been wanting for forever, minus the color, really.
Yeah.
Other than the color, it was the truck that I've always wanted, and like, I can only imagine. Well, my wife wanted the Pathfinder for a super long time, and we held out for that, so that was kind of a thing. But it came out when they said it was going to come out, so that was the big deal.
Wow! Wow!
Put it out.
We
bought one.
The Nissan guy coming in strong there with a little bash, man. I like it. So,
sorry, dude. I'm still changing some settings real quick here.
I know, man. You look like an old guy there. Oh wait, you are an old guy.
That's my old wacky.
It looks like you're in a fog though. Like you're a little hazy over there.
I'm changing my.
Is that all the wildfires? Is that why it's all foggy?
Yeah.
Do you guys even have is California so messed up anymore that you guys don't even you barely have electricity? Half the place is always on fire.
No, it's Northern California right now.
You got hippies.
We're good to go down where I'm at.
You got hippies at every intersection. I mean, what is going on over there?
I don't know, dude. It's not in my town, so I don't care. I'm in the small, revolting town of Moore Park, and I'm hitting. Dude, I'm hitting up Terrence Mooney at Fort McCroney's in Newberry Park. Yeah, buddy.
Oh yeah, dude. We got to get a picture.
Big old schooners of beer with frost on them, baby.
We got to get a picture of that for our Instagram. So Steven asks, how do I feel about the capable bumpers standard on Black Diamond and Badlands instead of the modular? I think it's a bunch of crap, honestly, Steven. I think it's a way that they're trying to recover a little bit of money and force people. Well, I mean, a lot of Sasquatch orders, and I've said there's too many options within models. There's too many options there was, Badlands was coming hard with the heavy duty bumper without a Sasquatch package. A lot of people are ordering with Sasquatch package. I don't know, man. 805, that's the beer I like over there, isn't it, Danny? The 805. Yeah, it's a great beer, man.
That's us. Looks like Cigar Tex and his wife grew up out here. That's cool.
Man, Danny's got all the friends over there suddenly.
Well, it's kind of a big deal area. It's kind of a lot of big deals come out from out around here. I'm sure Cigar and Emperor's wife's a big deal as well.
Well, so did your wife give you a
Matt Bagley, your daughter goes to school in Moore Park? Yeah, wow, that's dude, that's crazy.
I
That's
know.
crazy. We're on 2 different coasts. You got over 100 people watching right now. And,
Cigar text, and that's the wrong phone number. It's 8675-309. Jenny, who can I turn to? But yeah, as far as the bumper, man, I think they're forcing people into.
Are you talking about the factory aftermarket, or I'm sorry, not aftermarket, the factory winch bumpers that they're offering for them?
So well,
winch bumper?
It's kind of a winch bumper, but no, that what they did was so they make a heavy duty modular bumper that you can take the end caps off if you want more tire exposed.
Yeah.
That was standard on like the one I'm getting, but then for 22 they've decided to pull back and put more of a plastic style bumper up there, and forcing you, if you want that bumper, to pay extra. So
Gotcha. Well, I saw Lifestyle teasing a little front bumper on his truck.
Did.
Have you seen?
Well, that's not on his
seen
truck.
pictures on that?
That's not his truck. That's a.
Is that from?
That's in Orlando, Florida. That truck is.
Oh, is that from?
Yep.
Old
Alpha.
Cletus? Our buddy Old Cletus. Yes.
Yes, Alpha Wolf is making those. What is it? Alpha Wolf? I'm messing it up. But they are making some bumpers between them and Off-Road. But
up on me apparently.
But they're going to make those. They've already got a lift ready to go. They've got
nice.
What was it? They've got a couple sliders stuff ready to go, man. So very exciting
Dave,
times.
Something that I saw today. I saw a Bronco on 37s, and little known fact: 37 1250 or 1350, whatever they are, 17s.
Mm-hmm.
Big back order on them right now. Really, really hard to find them. And I see with the Bronco guys all getting their 35s in their truck, they're going to wheel them for a while, and then they're going to be like, I want bigger, better, wilder. I see 37s being a little bit of a problem for the next while, because that's going to be an easy move to a 37 on Broncos.
Yeah.
From what I can tell, and if they start really pumping these out, if they start getting some chips and pumping them out, I see that being a problem, dude.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, you know the game. Like 33s used to be the benchmark, and then it turned into 35s, and nobody wants to just let their vehicle be what it is. And I told Luke after driving that one for the weekend on 35s, man, I told Luke that I was going into this going, oh, I'm going to have to go 37, so I'm going to have to get the crappy 4-wheel parts lift for it and to do that. And I'll be honest, dude, I think 35s are just freaking perfect on this thing. And I'm the guy that wants to modify his vehicle at all points of his life. And I could be happy. Well, besides rock sliders, I want better rock sliders. But I think I could be happy almost leaving it alone.
That's a good question. So what I saw you in your video talking about the rock sliders, the factory rock sliders. What did you not like about them?
Well, so they're just I want the little kick out like White Knuckle does,
like a White Knuckle style,
because
something that you can pivot off a little bit better. And
yeah, because I've used that actually in a lot of situations to pivot on rocks, and so I didn't cave in the side of my vehicle.
Yeah, no, I hear you on that. I can understand that. I'm kind of on both sides of the fence with that one. I like the super tuck up, because sometimes when they're out there a ways, like on my truck, that for me it's like when I'm not using them, they're a little annoying. I mean, they are nice for when I'm standing on the top washing it or something like that, but I do kind of like the tuck in. It's nice and clean. It's sitting up really tight, so you do get a little bit more clearance out of it. But at the same time, if you want to pivot off of them off a rock, or if you're holding, I've held my truck off of rocks by grinding them down the side before. So it's kind of depends on how hard you're going to go. And I mentioned this in the chat earlier. If you're going to be using a front locker, there's a good chance you're going to be on a trail where you're going to be doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Rubicon, stuff where there's stuff here in Southern California, up in Big Bear, that it's very tight. You're pivoting around trees, and that front locker might keep you out of a tree, which is nice.
Yeah.
But if you're going to be using that front locker, it's either going to be real slick not, or you're on a trail that you're willing to get a little nerf, a little scrape, a little scratch.
Yeah, I know part of the problem with Bronco right now is, I know Rusty Jeter was talking that it's not frame connected at all; they're body connected rock sliders, which I've seen the Jeeps handle like drops on them, like and not damage it. But I want frame connection because even just in my daily life, side impacts of a crash, I want to know my family's
So
just
were
slightly.
those body mount?
Just like my Jeep,
Oh,
all the
yeah,
Jeeps are body mount too.
Yeah, frame connection for sure, 100%. Well, and on top of that is weird jacking situations. I mean, I have jacked in very weird situations.
Well,
and I know
haven't we
Dave,
all, sir? Haven't we
Dave has
all?
jacked in even more weird situations. We won't get into it, but I know for a fact
That's a
he's
different
had some
channel.
real weird jacking situations. But
Jacking
if
Nation
you blow a
with
tire,
Danny and Dave.
If you blow a tire in a weird spot or something like that, and you need to get a high lift on one of those things, that high lift will be literally in your door.
Yeah.
So that is for sure a big deal.
You would know about putting a high lift in a door too, wouldn't you, Dan?
I never put a high lift in a door.
I thought you put your high lift in the side of yours or somebody else's one time. You were helping them.
No, I've never done it. I've seen it. I've seen it a couple times. People nerfing their doors pretty solid with a high lift.
My 2000 Xterra that I sassed when I was bringing it down. So I was all excited by myself. I'd got the axle, everything on it. I was letting it down for the first time. The high lift had been just there as a secondary in case the jacks broke or something. And I was letting it down, and wouldn't you know, it slid off my garage, nerfed right into the door, man.
Yeah, Dave, a couple of these guys have a really good idea for your OnlyFans, obviously, which is going to be sketchy jacking scenarios.
Oh, I like that. Would people pay to see my sketchy jacking scenarios?
Clint Perry said 37s would put a lot of stress on IFS, and I completely agree with that. I've seen a lot of.
I don't. Here's why.
Guys
Here's why.
Let me finish my thought.
No, I want to interrupt you before because I want your rebuttal on this. This is my show, Dan. F you. No, so they come they're ready for 35s, right? The CVs and everything. They know from Raptor how to make this work. Raptor now is getting 37s. You can get 37s on those things. Fairly similar setup. I think that they have it down. I think that they've played with Raptor for 10 years and understand what 35s do to a front end. I think 40s, you try to shove 40s under the thing, that's when you really start having problems. But go ahead, Dan.
Yeah. So I think my biggest problem with shoving like a 37 on it is, as opposed to a 37 on a solid axle, is driver's awareness of a turned wheel and how that affects CVs. If you have a wheel fully drooped at full lock, the binding issue it's something that people need to take note of and be careful of. I've seen so many people, when they're all crossed up on trails and they're giving it all the juice and they're blowing. I've seen 15, 20 CVs blown on trails, and they're, that's how the whole golden sleepover happened. But it's different for an IFS, and people need to be aware of that.
Yeah, let's see.
As long as your OnlyFans is aptly demonstrating all terrain.
Right. I can jack it in all terrain. Let's see. Where was it? Rusty Jeep says he's seen high lifts almost kill a guy. Yeah, they're dangerous. But a high lift, especially for a new Bronco guy, hey, don't go out there just thinking you got to go buy those things, man. Trust me, a bottlenose jack under an axle will do just as good, and it's a lot safer. What are you laughing at, Dan?
Yeah, it's all the phone numbers that are getting thrown out.
I know.
Oh, it's cracking me up, dude. It's cracking me up.
We had the best. We had the best viewers, man.
Yeah. I mean, we had great viewers on NMP. It's just like there's so many more great ones now.
We have a variety, a plethora of different opinions, and I love it. Yep. No, like Rusty was saying though, like high lifts are definitely dangerous. It's old school technology that's never been improved on with that style jack.
Yeah, right.
And well, they're super. Oh, Danny, you were told to take a drink.
Sorry, guys. I was grabbing a beer.
Somebody
suggested I take a drink, and I've always been the guy at the party.
Danny, I've got to send you some stickers, man. Remind me. and because I need a sticker on the
Yeah.
back of your
Well, I have a couple already. I just haven't put them on yet. And
of
I've
all
been,
terrain.
yeah. Well, I have a big all-terrain sticker. Maybe if you got a little bit smaller one, I don't know.
Yeah, something this size maybe.
Oh yeah, I need a couple up here on the
I
old
need to
stop
send you.
sign.
I need to send you. Well, you don't like the shirt. You don't like my play on the Friends logo.
Yeah, I
I'll
watched
be
way
there
too
for
many
you,
Friends
Dan.
with my
Come on,
wife.
man. You put this shirt on. You're like, you know what? Dave was there for me. Oh, let's see. Bottle. Yes, definitely, Matt. A bottle jack is just fine in nearly all situations.
Well, I mean, even you know what, like I fully support like the scissor jack as well. In like using it for things that it may not be originally designed, but having a couple different jacks. I mean, Dave. I mean, we could just talk about jacking it all night, really.
We could, dude. It's a
Obviously,
long, it's a
you
long
sign
and
up-
hard conversation, but we could do it.
We're starting that OnlyFans later. But having a couple different. I mean, trail fixes. You know, a scissor jack will jack stuff out, and you just and you know it just smashes it together like this.
Well,
And then
sometimes
you're trying to, and then you push real hard, and you just crank it. You just crank on it. You know.
do you use any lube for that?
Well, yeah, you always keep your scissor
lithium
jack.
grease or anything?
If you don't lube your jack, then you're gonna be in hot mess. I mean, truthfully, if you don't keep your high lift jack lubed,
Yeah.
you're gonna blast yourself right in the face, and that's a damn true statement.
Yeah, that is a damn truth. Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I have a high lift jack. I don't. For one, they're big and bulky. I know a lot of mall crawlers like to put them on the side of their vehicle so it makes them look like they're really doing something. But then they rust up.
They rattle so bad.
Yes.
They rust and they rattle. I keep mine in my garage because it rattles in my bed of my truck, and then it just the weather gets it, whether it's rusty or it's just dry. Yeah, you got to lube your pins up in those, because if you don't, those things stick, and there's nothing worse than trying to jack up a jack with. I can't even get through this.
Oh,
But it's complete truth, dude.
yeah.
But sometimes I said, you know what? If the occasion provides itself, I could scissor. I could do all the things. I could scissor jack. I could long arm jack. I could do all the jacking.
Danny, when we were on our last overland adventure, he was the little spoon when we were in that tent together.
When was our last overland adventure?
17, dude. Can you believe that when we went to Black Bear?
Yep. Was that Black Bear?
Yeah.
Dang. Wait, I was not the little spoon.
I have a picture. I still have this picture, by the way, of Danny. Danny was SoCal there. It was so cold. And I came from Tennessee. We were in Utah the first night. It was cold. It was cold that night. And I was relying on
cold. Yeah.
I was relying on SoCal there for any kind of blankets or anything. And so I brought some of those little hand warmers with me. And Danny's like, you don't need those. And the next night, Danny was like, hey, you got any extra of those hand warmers?
Yeah, it got a lot colder than I was planning on it getting.
Hey, did they have any of that kind of stuff for you when you were in Afghanistan? Any kind of like...
No, I had a legit bed.
No, I'm talking about just like hand warmers, stuff like that when you were out dealing in the cold.
No, because I worked night. Well, not that I knew of. I mean, I worked nights. We had good sleeping bags and stuff like that. So
you
I
worked
during the day.
You worked?
I did.
Wow.
Well, I watched a lot of Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and bootleg movies where you saw the guy sit down in the theater and then like start videoing the movie.
Right.
So I watched a lot of those movies when we weren't working.
Well, that's all I know of. Like most people over there, it seemed like they just watched a lot of movies. So
Danny was the ladle.
Oh no. So Dan, all this Bronco talk, man. Like you have to be like an expert now of listening to me BS about Broncos all the time.
I just want you to get a Bronco, so it's almost like low hanging fruit now. I don't even enjoy making fun of you for not getting your truck. I kind of just like, I'm just completely sad that you don't have your truck yet, because yeah, it's just low hanging fruit. Like making fun of you just isn't as fun anymore, because it was fun for a while.
Yeah.
I mean, now I got my Ford. Now it's just like a sad, young boy who you could beat up all day, but you don't because you just lost all the fun out of it.
So I'm thinking though we've got to get you on the books, man, to fly out here when I get it, and we got to go test it.
Yeah, I'd love to go test it.
Guys, let me see some thumbs up if you want to see Danny meet me out here to drive the Bronco. Let's show some thumbs up on that one.
Yeah, and you know what, Dave? You guys were talking a lot about wraps on the truck too. Is like
where are you at with that?
Even on the side, because we've talked a couple times, and you've kind of seen how much trail scratch damage I've had, and it's mostly from Arizona. Arizona shrub brush destroyed my red truck like to the max. Like two trips with it there, and all the other little trips that I've done over the years. I mean, just pinstripe to all hell, and I've waxed it and tried to take care of it as best as I can, and for what I've done to it, it looks good. But at the same time, it's just you get a new vehicle like that that's so pretty and nice. I would say even put a clear wrap on it or something, because
what about ceramic coating, man? What are you with?
I think it's great. I think ceramic coating is awesome, but I don't think it's not going to stop a finger size branch just doing its duty on all across your flank.
You don't want anybody doing their duty on you.
But yeah, I think like either if you love your color that you got, a clear wrap at least on the front and on the sides.
Yeah,
I think that would make huge huge inroads to keeping it looking nice for as long as possible.
So as a guy who has no dog in this fight, man, what's the number one weakness you think that we're going to see with Bronco?
That's a great question.
Because you've not studied this, you only really know what you've seen.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of. I do think we'll see a lot of CVs, whether or not they've. Kind of what I was going to earlier. I think people are going to expect it to do more than it should. There's a bunch of guys that have been running them in Moab and testing them out. They just got them and have beaten them up pretty hard. So I haven't seen any big breaks out there yet. But I think most of those guys that have been doing that are guys that know what they're doing.
Yeah.
I think once we see more people with them in their hands that are modifying them, maybe not necessarily incorrectly, but too quickly. I think we got to see CVs. We got to see CVs breaking.
Yeah.
It's just the nature of the game.
Well, have you seen the thickness of the CVs though that they're using?
Yeah, they look pretty beast.
They're
you'll probably see
truck CVs.
Yeah, you'll probably see a bunch of tie rods getting bent up. Is my other guess. Just because the tie rod's going to be another week. Kevin Menace.
I know.
Drink, Danny, drink.
Man, I love our audience, how they support alcoholism.
No, just completely. Let's get Danny trashed again. Immediately jump on the bandwagon.
Right.
Cigar Texan says greatest weakness will be electronics, which
they've had a few problems with, my understanding, deep water.
I could see that. I mean, it depends where the control units are and stuff like that, and what kind of water ingress happens. At what level do the electronics get some water ingress and whatnot? Most connectors on everything are pretty watertight these days.
Yeah.
But if you do it and you don't clean the truck out, it's possible. Any electrical control unit is going to have bugs in it no matter what vehicle make.
Mobile Mondo says, I'm curious whether the Raptor lower AA arms will bolt right onto the Bronco. I almost bet they would, because they damn near look identical now. And a lot of this stuff, me and Danny know through the Nissan world. Man, the Frontier Xterra shares the same platform with the Titan, and all that stuff converted right over from Titan parts right into the Frontiers.
Yeah. And I think I truly believe that the biggest weakness is them not making them.
Yes. Well, they want to. It's not a matter of they don't want to. Yeah, I seen that too, and it looks like it has the same Fox suspension that the Raptor has.
Yeah. I'm sure they'll be wider. They'll probably have 2 or 3 more inches of travel. It'll probably be a Fox package on it or something like that.
It's definitely a Fox
like
package.
What the Raptor has. Yeah, I'm sure we'll see that. Which would be
that's
pretty cool.
something that bothers me about. So I know you really haven't seen one of these in person or close up, Dan. With the Sasquatch package, they're fairly wide. I would definitely for you to reference you, it'd be like Titan swapping Frontier. Widens the track. These Warthog / Raptor versions they're doing look like they're another 4 inches per side sticking out. At what point does this damn thing become too big?
Probably like an 85 or 84, 85 width. I mean, it's going to be the width of a full size is what it's going to be.
Yeah. But at what point do they just become too big?
Well, the point where you don't fit in the trails anymore. Raptors are known for just barely fitting into trails because they are wide. They're like up in the 90 range of track width. So I think everybody will be fine. I think that it'll be, just a super wide stance. But I mean, the body's not getting wider per se.
Well, they are wider fenders.
Okay. So I mean that might be a thing if you're if you're scrubbing on stuff in trails that are not they're more Jeep trails, or Jeeps especially if you have the hard fenders and whatnot and Jeeps and stuff like that, they have a pretty skinny body for the most part, especially once you take those fenders off.
Yeah.
And tires stick out, but so that might turn into a thing, but at the same time those things are going to be so boss on long desert roads and stuff like that. They're going to be so planted.
You'll love this.
We're on complete opposite sides, so we do different off-roading.
Oh yeah, you give Danny the keys over here in East Tennessee to your vehicle, and he suddenly thinks it's a desert runner, and he bombs through these trails like at 80 miles an hour. You're like, what the hell are you doing, man? Ends up tearing up your vehicle that you need for the week. And
you told me to.
I did tell you to.
You said hit it, bro.
Yeah, but I'm talking about rock crawling. And Danny's like, hit it, like, oh, let's race. God, that was a messed up time, man. I lost my wallet on the trail. I had
We found it though, right? We found it.
Yeah, but I had to go back at dusk.
Didn't you find it at night?
It was dusk, definitely, yeah. And that was, dude. We've got to do a show sometime just talking about stupid things we've done. So let's see.
Dave, question for you: do you think you're going to be? You think you'll end up putting a tune in it? Bump the horsepower up another 50 or so.
As long as Ford Performance does it, and like I said, they've got a 2.3 tune ready, so I would say they have a 2.7 tune as well, depending on price too. Now, if they want to charge $2,000 for a tune, I'm probably out.
Yeah. No, I'm with you on that. That would be ridiculous.
What would you?
B Warren says, does anyone think it's ironic that Ram's long arm truck is a T-Rex, just little tiny arms?
B Warren always brings it.
Oh, B Warren, dude, he's bringing the heat always.
What would you do on one of these things? So you were somewhat familiar with Ford engines. I'm going to get the 2.7. Where would you start freeing up some power?
Oh, that's a good question. I mean, from what I understand, is like the tune is the way to go. I mean, the stock airbox can, from my understanding, is I'm just touching my toes into it right now. Even the stock airbox can run up to 500 horsepower supposedly. Well, that's a 3.5, so the 2.7 might be different. But I think a tune immediately will be the way to go, even if you have just a light tune in it. Just something that bumps it up 40 or 50 horsepower.
Yeah,
because you'd be able to feel that huge. I mean, that some cars supercharged for 40 horsepower, 50 horsepower.
Yeah. Oh, I could definitely see it 330s. So I could definitely see them 360 to 380.
Would you tune it for $800?
Oh yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, once again, I'm not doing it for a race car, but at the same point,
but the thing is too is you're gonna have to run 91, I imagine.
Yeah, no, they want. I mean, it's a turbo, so they want high octane for no matter what with turbos, which I think a lot of people.
You should be able to run the 87 in it.
No, you can run it, but
From,
you don't
from
get
the from the factory. 87 is recommended.
not for these. 93 is.
Not for those.
Mm-mm.
Really?
Yeah,
My
it's turbos.
3.5 is.
I bet yours
Well,
is
but
high.
my three. No, it says do not. It's straight from the factory. It says you will get no performance or fuel economy gains from 92.
Which is weird because now now at some point somebody was sued because now they've had to change the wording of a lot of that stuff. All these manufacturers now, I mean, we caught Nissan with it last year, but they've all had to come out and say, put little disclaimers that to get my horsepower ratings, must have high octane.
Nissan said specifically to us while we were driving up in their new Titan. We said, well, do we have to run 92 in here? If you want the 400 horsepower, you got to run 92.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
What's crazy? Look, think about that. So that 5.6 at 400 horsepower, or this 2.7 that damn could make 400 horsepower fairly easy. A V6 versus a V8.
Wait, say that again?
So the 2.7 liter twin turbo is rated at 330 horsepower as stands. You could tune it. I'm pretty sure you could put exhaust under it and you could hit 400 pretty easy. I think cheaply too. And Nissan's still over there with a V8 at 400 horsepower.
Well, and even Chevy's still running their 5.3 and all their Silverados.
Yeah, they do offer a 4-cylinder.
Yeah, well, they offer a standard V6. They offer a natural aspirated V6 in them as well. But they're getting pretty terrible gas mileage with that 5.3. It's nothing. I mean, it's really good for a V8, I would say, but it's still. I mean, that's still a pushrod motor. That's some old school tech.
Nice. Let's see. Hey, Dan, I'm thinking. Nobody's listening to this, so I've told Luke that spring next year I want to do an off-road trip to Moab. Man, you in? Would the Red Dragon make it? Well, you've got a tow rig now. What am I saying? All you need is that trailer.
Yeah, well, I should have a trailer by next year for sure, like my own trailer.
I'm thinking in between
like a borrowed Buster trailer.
In between Easter Jeep and Gone Moab, somewhere.
If I can get my race truck going by this year, then I should be able to start putting a little bit of love back into my red truck. So
is she that bad?
Not bad. She just needs all the things. She needs new brakes. She needs a spare tire, a front bumper. Just all the things I haven't spent money on.
Do you regret selling that front bumper on that thing?
No, because the front bumper that I had looked hideous on it with the fenders.
Well, yeah, that's right. You went wide track.
Yeah, that's why I sold it. It just didn't work.
Guys, we're gonna have to get over on Danny's channel. We're going to have to do a super chat marathon for Danny to help get him a front bumper on his vehicle.
Yeah, that's for real.
I would definitely throw $100 at that one.
I shot a bunch of video this last weekend on trying to get my trans in. Of course, I ran into a bolt problem again because, swapping over from one thing to a completely different is, you keep finding things that you forget. But I spent 4 hours getting a small, press-in dowel out of the back of the crankshaft. And almost lost my mind this weekend. So I moved on to other things because I found out that my clutch pack bolts weren't there because I pulled an automatic out. But
yeah,
so I should have a trans in it by this weekend.
Nice, man. That's kind of the only thing holding you back. So that'd be awesome.
Yeah. I'm hoping. Fingers crossed.
Well, maybe
Ford
Ford
intake. I got my intake mounted.
What would you do if you get done with that and then somebody like Ford goes, dude, I like what you do over on the All Terrain Nation. We want to give you a Bronco. Would you drop that Xterra like it was last night's prom date? And...
No, just like my wife of 19 years, I have too many memories with this truck, and I'm sure there's going to be way more once I get racing in it, but. I mean, if I wad this thing up on my first race and it turns into a giant pile of junk, then then it's back to the drawing board.
Right.
But we'll see.
Right. That's funny. All right, guys. The last call for alcohol. We'll give you a couple more minutes, and then I've got a hurricane coming through, so I don't think I'm going to work tomorrow, Dan. But I'm a Boy Scout, so I got to be prepared, anyways. It's 10:30 here.
Really, a hurricane by the time it gets to you, is it? Isn't it just like a super storm?
No,
is it still a hurricane by the time it hits you?
No, it'll be
I don't think it is, dude.
It'll be a tropical storm here, but
a tropical storm by the time it hits you. But I mean, that doesn't mean it's not shit. You're gonna have friggin' stuff tumbling around.
Well, we've had already tornadoes and stuff popping around, so
nice.
You don't know what those are like, so.
No, I don't know why I live in a place where hurricanes destroy your house every couple of years.
or what is it? Lightning strikes over there that burn down. Or no, you have to shut the grid down because of the winds.
Only had to evacuate one time in my almost 40 years that I've lived here from my house because of a fire.
Yeah.
And
when was that, like 2 years ago?
That was more like I kind of want to get out of work today, so I'm going to go home and make sure my family's okay kind of evacuation, you know?
I like it. Any other questions, guys? This has been a fun one. I'm glad Danny stopped by.
I'm going to be grabbing beers with Terrence at Cronies on Friday night, I guess.
Well, how are we going to do our ATN Live then? I guess you can do it from there. You can do it on your phone.
Yeah, we'll be chatting. We'll be chatting from the from Cronies. Couple beers deep. Got a big weekend coming up.
Yeah. Danny, our buddy, what was his name? Jim. Oh gosh, we interviewed him about a month ago. He was building the Honda.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He hit us up and he's making headways on his car. Wanted to shout out to Jim.
Yeah, Jim Cat, dude.
Yeah, I think when we get him on the show next time, he'll be a little more knowing what we're about to put him through.
Yeah, can't wait to see his car all finished up.
Yeah, definitely, man. Santa Ana wind fires and earthquakes. Yeah, the winds I've been through when I flew out there that November 15th.
We have not really Santa Ana time per se, but yeah, we can get some winds blow through here. That doesn't help anything.
Yeah, it was windy as piss when we were trying to load your Xterra up on that trailer. And
our Texan said you got to move a trailer that has 4 dead rubbers. That's better than a trailer that has 4 dead hookers.
Well, unless there's 4 dead rubbers in those dead hookers, and then it's a whole weird another thing.
That's a good night.
It is a good night. All right, guys. So whether it be 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel drive, you guys know the drill. It doesn't matter what you drive. Danny, it's been an honor to have you on the show for like 4 days in a row, or in between 4 days or something, man. It's worked out great.
Yeah, that's
the show will be on Thursday. We're going to have Luke Panko of Lifestyle Off-Road. He's going to talk about his month-long drive now in his Bronco and some of the parts. He's going to discuss some of the parts that they are developing for the Broncos. And so it's 2 shows this week. So you know the drill, guys. What are we, Dan?
Oh, and don't forget to subscribe to Dave's OnlyFans for all your all-terrain jacking needs. All-terrain jacking.
Oh my
/
God.
OnlyFans, whatever.
Oh my God. We're out, everybody. Peace.